major races. Harry Gant has 1 second-place finish and 7 victories. Is there a little magic left in that thing?
We sure hope so. The Van Oldsmobile's running real good. It's going to be a tough race. Davey Allison, Ernie Irvin, Dale Earnhardt, everybody is running really good. You know, we just hope that we'll have a good handling car. We brought the same car we've been running, and it seems to pick up a little about halfway, so that's our hope today.
When Dale Earnhardt goes to tracks like Bristol, Tennessee, he wins a third of the races that he enters. Daytona and Talladega, he's always a threat to win. But Dale, when we come to Charlotte, this thing's awful tough on you at times.
Well, it is. You know, it's been a good racetrack for us. It's a home track, a lot of fans and friends here, and it seemed like we win or lose here. We've had precarious things happen to us here. We got correct on pit road one race. We broke the cam shape early in the race. So, you know, anything can happen to us here. We come here and run good and practice good. It just seems like we don't win. We have a real bad day. But yeah, last spring we ended up third, so you know we're looking forward to a good race here. We got a good race car here, and picked up a few points in the last couple of races. We're on a pretty good roll here after winning Wilkesboro last week. I'd like to gain a few points on Ricky here and try to win this race.
Davey Allison has won the last 3 races in a row here at Charlotte, all in the same car. He's brought the same weapon here. Should we just wait until Victory Lane to talk to you?
Well, I sure hope that we're there at the end of the race, Dick. But this is 007, and it's got a good record going here at Charlotte. So far, it's won everything it's entered at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we'd like to continue that streak on this weekend.
So many stories, so many dramas, but since he first won that first race back in 1960, Richard Petty is still the story of the week. Come on, Richard. Say it isn't so.
Okay, I'll say it isn't so, according to what you're talking about. But I think what you're talking about, yeah, I'm going to finish up this year, and I'm going to run all of next year for Richard Petty Fan Appreciation Tour. And, you know, I'm doing it for myself, but I'm doing it for the fans, too. And I think it ought to be a very exciting year for all of us.
The Mello Yello 500 is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last. By Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now. By Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil, add more life to your car. By Goodyear, the unanimous choice of every NASCAR Winston Cup team. And by Mello Yello. At the Mello Yello 500, there's nothing mellow about it.
The Charlotte Motor Speedway is overflowing with race fans. The showplace of the sport set for a battle royale today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to TBS coverage of the Mello Yello 500. There's $800,000 on the line. It's the 9th all-Ford front row of the season. A new track record in qualifying. All those stories overshadowed by the point race. On the Speedways, Ricky Rudd had cut Dale Earnhardt's margin to just 36 points. On the short tracks, Earnhardt came storming back, including last week's win. He comes here to Charlotte leading by 112 with 4 races to go. What a battle. I'll be here coordinating the stories up and down pit road as this race unfolds with the help of 6 runners and spotters, scanner listeners, and 2 expert reporters. Let's first go up to the starting grid and meet Randy Pemberton.
Well, thank you, Mike Joy. I'm standing by here with Mark Martin. Mark, a new track record. You've got a unit count bonus of $152,000 if you can win this race from the pole. But I would believe that you'd win this race if there was a buck on the line today. You guys need a victory.
Oh, we'd love to win with this Folgers Thunderbird. It's been so good all week. I just hope nothing spoils it for us today. We're trying not to get our hopes too high. Just go out and do our job like we always do and see how things fall, you know.
Okay, good luck, Mark. Now let's go over to Dick Berggren, editor of Stock Car Racing Magazine, who's standing by with Davey Allison on the outside of the front row.
Well, this is the driver. This is the car that have won 3 in a row here at Charlotte. But they tried to make this car faster. They adjusted everything, changed a lot of stuff. And yesterday, after the last practice, well, they changed it all back. But you haven't had a chance to drive it since all those changes. Is this car all right?
Well, we were having a little bit of trouble getting the thing to handle right in practice yesterday, so we made some changes, kind of put it back to where we were here in May. The track had changed a little bit between May and October, and we were chasing the track around, and you know, we just couldn't seem to get it right, so we put it back pretty close to where we were here in May, and we'll probably have to make a few adjustments during the race today, but I think we're going to be all right.
Well, right now, the hottest man in stock car racing is Harry Gant, and Randy Pemberton is with him.
Well, we talked to Harry Gant, had a little magic left in this Oldsmobile. Harry, you've had a great run here. You started being Mr. September, now Mr. October with your first victory. Can you do it again today?
Well, we're trying, just to finish these last 4 races and finish where we be. We just want to be there at the end, that's for sure.
Okay, Harry obviously got his mind on the race, and that'll go for us. The 600 miles here today, or 500 miles here today.
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
And now we say those 4 famous words, the general aboard the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Mr. Bruton Smith.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
42 cars have fired their engines, and the 32nd Mello Yello 500 is ready to flicker on the 1.5-mile Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hello, everyone. With Neil Bonnet, I'm Ken Squire, and we're ready for 500 miles of racing, what is the most prestigious and most pressure-packed event in the last quarter of the 1991 season. Neil, when you think about this race, it means something separately and individually to each guy out here. Harry Gant started his career in super speedway racing here, won his first super speedway event here. And the guy on the pole, Mark Martin, hasn't won a race in over a year. There's a $152,000 bonus if he can come home this afternoon.
Ken, when you roll into a place like Charlotte, it's easy to get involved in all the big money, the big hype, all the prestige that goes with winning this race. That's fine for the Gants and the Martins, but what about the Earnhardts and the Rudds who are in the middle of a big points battle? They can't let the big hype make them do some crazy things today. They got to be concerned about finishing this race. The points pays $1 million.
And winning on this track's no easy deal. It's one of the most temperamental pieces of pavement in racing. Neil, give us a description of it.
Ken, here we are with a big, fast 1.5-mile Charlotte quad oval. This thing, the speeds have been broken all week long, a new track record. Here we are, the front straightaway with a big dog leg in it. 5-degree banking on the front straightaway, 5 degrees on the back. Here's where everything happens in the corners. The first and second turn and the third and fourth are 24 degrees. But let me tell you, they're flying through these corners. The track record we talked about, it happened right here in these corners. And we're going to have to be careful because that's where all the action is going to be all day long.
Time to take a look at the Haviland starting grid for this Mello Yello 500 today. On the front row, it'll be Mark Martin, new record at 176.499 miles per hour. And alongside is the defending champion, Davey Allison. 3 Fords are up in front. The third, Alan Kowicki, the great Wisconsin campaigner. Alongside is Ernie Irvin. Row 3 today. Ken Schrader, the '89 winner, is there, and Jeff Bodine. Row 4, Kyle Petty has done it well. He's back up to 7th today on the starting grid, and alongside is the '88 winner, Rusty Wallace. Row 5 is Bill Elliott, who won in '84 and '87, and the number 2 man currently in that point battle, Ricky Rudd. Going to row 6, Waltrip's there, Michael and Darrell. In row 7, Sterling Marlin, and Bobby Hamilton had an outstanding run as a rookie. In row 8, there's your leader in the point battle, Dale Earnhardt, won her last time out at Hut Strickland. Row 9, Harry Gant won 7 of his last 8 in NASCAR, and Rick Mast. Going to row 10 today, there's Brett Bodine. Big story developing about that Bodine car, and Morgan Shepherd. Row 11 is Greg Sachs, Dale Jarrett. For row 12, Rick Wilson and Terry Labonte. Row 13, Jimmy Hensley's there along with Derek Cope. Row 14 today, Chad Little, one of the real veterans, Dave Marcus. Row 15 is Jimmy Means and Stan Smith from Alabama. Row 16, rookie Ted Musgrave and Joe Ruttman. Row 17, Pennsylvania's Jimmy Spencer. Gary Ballou is back. Row 18 is Bobby Hillen, and Dorsey Schrader takes over in the Kelly Yarborough car. Row 19 is Kerry Teague and Larry Pearson. For row 20 today, there you find Richard Petty and Mike Skinner. And Wally Dallenbach gets a provisional start on the tail end of the field as we get ready to roll. The field is comprised of 10 Fords, 13 Chevys, 8 Pontiacs, 6 Oldsmobiles, 3 Buicks. And we'll be back for the start of the Mello Yello 500 in just a moment. Stay with us.
season. And at the top of the point parade, Dale Earnhardt. Ricky Rudd, after these last couple of weeks on the short tracks, has dropped 120-some points behind. There's Ernie Irvan in third. Davey Allison, who runs really well here, is fourth. And Mr. September, Harry Gant, climbed from ninth all the way up to fifth place in the point standings. I heard him come by one time, Ken. Two more pace laps?
Yeah, I believe there's one more run down on pit road, and car number 4. Here you see the 53 car in trouble. That's the Moroso car. The hood has been up for some time. Bobby Hillen out of Midland, Texas, taking over on that car.
It looks like they're working on the ignition system on the car. A lot of times these things just cut out and you can't come crank.
So there's 41 cars now on the track. He started to roll out, and it died. Now the in-car cameras for today's race. You're with the Phillips 66 Top Arctic car, and that's Dorsey Schrader. He had a spin out here the other day. Here's Michael Waltrip. He's driving our champion spark plug in-car camera, number 30, Pinto car. And then the Haviland in-car is right up in the front of the field. He gets set to go. Here's Davey Allison's car, number 28. He's getting ready to turn that loose right behind the pace car as we settle down for a start here this afternoon. At Charlotte, it's 500 miles. One more time down pit road, and as we get this field ready to go, this is the 9th time the Fords have swept the front row in the 26 races to date.
Boy, Charlotte's always been known as a Ford product racetrack, and it certainly showed up this weekend. I see Bobby Hillen's also got his car fired.
Waiting with the tail end of the field, let's point out that the number 4 car that had qualified so well got bumped and battered. He's out back now. He's dropped to the rear end of the field. Ernie Irvan's got some work to do early.
In practice the other day, he really bounced the other car off the wall and had to build to bring a backup car out.
As has been the custom, though, so many times you get 2 Fords in the front row or 3 Fords up in front. It's been number 4 Chevrolet. It's been right around there to be the next car up. Didn't stay, however. Now, there are the posted awards, $791,000. The length of this is 334 laps, 500 miles. Saw the race record. Yesterday we had the slowest Grand National race here. Go way back in the record books. And it was, because of so many cautions, a very slow race. 8 total.
Had a lot of wrecks yesterday. Hopefully the cool track today, overcast, maybe we won't see the kind of problems we had yesterday.
So the field is now into turn number 3 up on the 24-degree bank. Here's Mark Martin in car number 6. Last time a driver won from a pole in this event, 1982. Harry Gant. Only 4 others have done it. Lorenzen in 65, Foxback in 68, Silver Fox in 74, and Darrell in 81. Oldsmobile pace car pulls in, field coming down. We're set for a start. Train is down, and on the approach to turn 1, Mark Martin scoots out in front. That front row gets some distance. 1 car spinning out of turn 2. Waltrip in trouble. Got a second car that tried to do some avoidance and got in trouble, but it was Darrell Waltrip that got loose as they raced back to the line to complete lap number 1. Give it to Martin. Maybe Allison second, Lewicki third, Bodine fourth. A spin in turn 2 on the very first lap.
And I saw as they went in turn 1 down, it looked like Darrell's car got real high. He got up in the loose stuff. Here we go. We got a replay of it. This is going to be after Darrell's already turned around. Look at the traffic he came across and didn't get hit. Got the car down there on the concrete, and the padding on the inside was able to keep the car. There's Dave Marcus spinning directly in front of the other guys. They did a heck of a job avoiding them. But Darrell actually had trouble in turn 1 and got up in the loose stuff and turned it around.
Dave Marcus's car number 71 that had started in the 28th position. The one that got on the binders and spun. Let's take another look at turn 2.
That's Darrell right up against the wall of the car. There he turns it sideways. I don't think there was any contact or anything. It's just the car either had a tire go down sitting on pit road, or he just lost it going in that first turn. But he certainly was lucky. That was a bulk of race cars trying to mow him down right there.
1981 winner Waltrip in trouble on the very first lap. We're going to get one more before we turn him loose here.
Yeah, I think they're going to check for debris. If you notice, the frontal area on Darrell's car was completely gone. The nose panel was blown off the car when it got backwards, and it's probably going to take a little bit of time to pick the stuff up.
Maybe 2 or 3 laps before they go. Have to be 1 anyway. All right, we'll be back with more from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Wild start today. Darrell Waltrip gets out of control up in turn 2. 500. Mello Yello 500. Brought to you courtesy of Pennzoil Motor Oil today. Getting ready for a start, and on pit road is Darrell Waltrip.
Well, Darrell Waltrip has made 2 stops on pit road so far. They've been working on the front end of that car. When he spun it out, he tore the nose up badly. That's going to hurt him aerodynamically. Aerodynamics are extremely important here.
Meanwhile, Dorsey Schrader's number 66 is being pushed along pit road. Looks like that's going to be an early retiree, and the field is back under green with 4 laps complete.
On the break while ago, Ken, looked like Mark Martin and Davey really doing some racing. Martin broke away from him this time.
Down the back straightaway, see that interval just back to 6-car lengths and 3,000 feet down that back straightaway. Car really hitched up in the early going. The issue is, can it stay? Martin first. Allison second. Kowicki third. Bodine fourth. Rusty Wallace fifth. Ken Schrader sixth. Kyle Petty 7 going into turn 1. Ricky Rudd is 8th. Michael Waltrip 9th.
There we are, Ken. We see Schrader on the inside. He's passed several cars on the inside of the racetrack early like that. He's trying to make a move to the front as quick as possible.
Former champion of this event, Ken Schrader, in the white and green, number 25. Giving it a good, strong run. Stays down at the bottom of the racetrack as he tries to get underneath and by Kyle Petty. Meanwhile, here's Martin in that lead, and about to put a lap on Waltrip in the 17.
Big Berger was talking about, this is aerodynamic. The utmost right here, that car has nothing left.
Looking from Allison's car, running in second position behind Mark Martin, in front of Alan Kowicki. 170 miles an hour in the last lap. Martin qualified at over 172 to establish the new record.
Again, when he broke that track record, he said he just murdered turn 1 and 2. He did. He just barely got out of the throttle. The speeds at this racetrack are approaching the speeds of Daytona and Talladega, and that's unbelievable for a 1.5-mile racetrack.
Davey Allison is cutting in to Mark Martin. He's down to about 4 car lengths. Kowicki staying right there. Then it's 3 car lengths back to Jeff Bodine in the Junior Johnson car, followed by Rusty Wallace and Schrader. The 66 car, Dorsey Schrader, the Phillips car, has gone back to the gorge area. The hood is up. They may try to get it back out. That's the first retiree from the event. Kyle Petty coming back off that injury. He's qualifying better each time out. He had a great run in qualifying here, and he stays right up in the top 10 at the present time. Running 8th. Michael Waltrip has scooted by him, and now he's under heavy pressure. Here comes Earnhardt, fighting with Brett Bodine. Kenny Bernstein car. Big story there. Ernie Elliott rebuilding the engines for Kenny Bernstein and Brett Bodine next year. Ford combination coming out. Dual colors coming on. Brett Bodine scooting around and picking up 19th position, dropping Earnhardt back to 20th. Well, Davey Allison and Alan Kowicki have got to do a little drafting if they want to catch up with the leader as we watch Brett Bodine and Dale Earnhardt from 19th and 20th. We're back into this. Earnhardt's willing to be patient, as is Harry Gant. Gant was patient all day yesterday, and once again at the end of the race he was there. Ward Burton just plain ran his car out of here. Take a look at these leaders. Here's that battle for second spot, and really it's not a battle. I would think they're ready to toe the line here and try to overtake Mark Martin. That 2-car grab might be the trick.
They're probably sitting right now checking lap time to see if Davey leading. The only time I would think it would possibly change is let Kowicki get up there and see if he can pull him up. They need the fastest guy in front to try to run somebody down like Mark Martin.
Here you see the 28 and the 7. There is second and third spot in turn number 3. Coming around to complete lap 12. As they come around, here you see the battle just behind them, Jeff Bodine, and then it's Rusty Wallace, Ken Schrader. fifth, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Got a looper out of turn 2. Caution's out. Second time today.
Keep the cars down right up against the wall on the back straight of this car here and there. It looks like there's 2 cars involved. I couldn't see it.
Coming around is Mike Spooner out of Durham, North Carolina. The Cleveland Paint Chevrolet. One of the cars involved in the backstretch skirmish that has brought out the second caution, and as they race to the line, Martin stays there. Davey Allison second, with Kowicki third. Second caution of the day, and it's early. Just 13 laps complete. And we'll be back with more in a moment. Yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you hear that 40th to 20th verb?
Yeah. I was just telling him about it, either that or the Earnhardt one. At 25.5 miles, Darrell Waltrip has been in and out of the pit several times as they try to remedy the nose of that car that got so blunted out here in the very first lap of competition. Pace car is dropping off. Field coming out of the hole. We're ready to go racing once again here. On the brake, Martin skedaddles. Davey Allison trying to stay with him. And on the outside, as they dive down through, you see the black number 2. That's Rusty Wallace out and around. Position from Bodine. Looks like he's done it. Surprise here. Wallace making some moves, very deliberate, and we've got trouble down in turn number 3. It looks like Richard Petty is one of 2 cars involved. The other is Sterling Marlin. Caution is out for the 3rd time, and we're 18 laps into this thing.
Yeah, this is looking like yesterday. That's all we did yesterday, have problems, and I don't know what's causing it right now.
Richard Petty is back underway, and so for that matter is Sterling Marlin, but they spun in turn number 2, and the caution car is coming back to the track another time.
Both of these guys had just pitted and were on the rear of the field, and they tangled, coming back, trying to get back off the rear of the pack.
Here's Richard's car coming around. We saw it on pit road just a moment or 2 ago. And let's take a look at what happened here.
There's Richard down on the inside. Looks like Sterling right. Looks like Richard got a little sideways, and Sterling tried to go under him. There's no room. Sterling down on the flat part of the racetrack, and they never did hit real hard. They just slide along together there, but it's the reason they both cranked up, came on back around. They never did make any contact.
So Richard Petty and Sterling Marlin bring out the 3rd caution of the day. Yesterday we had a rash of cautions just early on in the going, and then after the midway point of the race, we had a 5-minute intermission yesterday. Things straightened out, much to the disadvantage of Ward Burton. He needed 1 more pit stop of fuel, never got it. Harry Gant came home first yesterday in that Grand National race. His 3rd GM win in a row. He's won 7 out of 8 NASCAR series of recent. Lost North Wilkesboro last week by 9 laps. Just at the end of the race, running out of brakes, still came in second to Dale Earnhardt in a dramatic race at that great 5/8 mile track.
You know, here's Sterling Marlin coming back in, and also Petty's up on the other end of pit road. This car, Sterling's, when it was in a while ago, they jacked it up, and we're doing some work on the right side. We're up under the car.
Let's go to Dick Berggren.
It's going to be a 4-tire change for Sterling Marlin. That's pretty much standard fare when you turn them around because the tires get flat spotted. You actually take one piece of the rubber right off it. So far, it seems to be a pretty routine pit stop. No gigantic reason to rush here. They can't gain any real advantage by a super fast stop. They just want to make sure they won't get lapped, and they're almost sure to be in that situation. Right sides are done, left sides are on. Sterling's got the car in gear. He's gone.
And the right side of the car has a gash in it. You can see down the side where it took a hit.
Yeah, and every time they put 4 of those tires on, that's about $1,000. So they've got $2,000 tied up in 19 laps of racing. So they're going to get busy now.
here's Sterling Marlin coming back out. He'd been looking for a really strong run here today. He's had 5 second places in Winston Cup racing, still looking for that first win. On the break, Martin's away. Allison right with him this time, trying to make up that lap down to the bottom of the racetrack is the 17, but it's not to be. Aerodynamics all gone in the front of Waltrip's car. He's falling back 7th. Here comes his brother going around him in the back shoulder. Meanwhile, up in front, Martin by 2 car lengths pulls Allison, and Allison comes right back after him. Maybe Allison has Martin in his clutches this time as they come around to complete 22.
You know, when they were here for the earlier race, Davey was talking about they just totally dominated the Winston and the 600. They're talking about changing stuff. They're probably back right where they were before, but Martin's really picked his pace up.
Interval 1st, 2nd to 3rd. Martin in front, Davey Allison in the 2nd spot, and Alan Kowicki's number 7 in 3rd. Meanwhile, Ernie Irvin's number 4 car, which has been showing in the 19th position, has just wheeled around and taken Greg Sachs down a peg. Moves around Waltrip now. Poor Waltrip is having his problem. Miserable day for him. Ernie Irvin on a roll from the rear of the field where he had to start after that car was damaged following qualifying. Is your starting position going to affect your plan for this race, Ernie?
It's going to make it a lot tougher, but it makes it a little more incentive. I'm trying to talk Larry McCarter into giving me passing points, you know, give me a couple points for passing for both cars. But we're going to go back there and try to work our way to the run, so that's no doubt really similar.
For 17th place, Ernie Irvin under Labonte as they go down into 1 and 2. Bobby Hamilton, the rookie, is up in front of him now as he continues his drive toward the front.
Again, he's getting halfway through the field in 20 laps, so he's really got the thing rolling.
But remember, we've had 3 cautions that have bunched this field back up, hence to his advantage.
The car's shown a lot of strength all year long. Rut Pittman rebuilds the motors, used to build for Haas Ellington when Donnie drove for him. He's always had a ton of horsepower, and they certainly aren't lacking any now.
There you have your leaders, and there's the interval over the front 4. Martin, Allison, Kowicki, and Rusty Wallace there. So it's Ford in the front 3 positions, and Pontiac is running 4th. Manufacturers battle is a dandy this year between Ford and Chevrolet. For the moment, the Chevys have the top 3 spots covered in this race. Looks like a record crowd for the 500 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Mello Yello 500. Bodine has fallen back into Schrader. Take a look back here. There you see that 42 car diving down in. That's Kyle Petty, and behind him, Morgan Shepherd should be right there in the midst of that hunt. Got his hands full as Ricky Rudd pulls up on the outside. Morgan Shepherd in the 15, Ricky Rudd in the 5. This is for 11th position, and Morgan is there. And remember, this is a do-or-die situation for Ricky Rudd as he tries to get back in that point battle. With 42 cars starting this race, you don't want to fall out early in that point battle when there's 112 points between Earnhardt and Rudd, 1st to 2nd.
Again, this race has a lot of incentives, big money and all, but when you finish last in the short track, you finish 28th. When you finish last here, you're 42nd. It can kill you in the points. This battle we're watching right here, they were 3 abreast all the way around the racetrack for the last few laps. Rudd was up there in front of the whole group. He's falling back. I feel like they'll be coming. They're going to have to do some work on that car on the next caution because he's been losing quite a bit of ground.
The rookie Hamilton is having a great run, and so is Dale Jarrett. Dale Jarrett is in 12th position. That Ford that started in 22nd position, the Wood Brothers car that had that incredible run at Michigan, is putting on some kind of show here. Right behind him, you see Ricky Rudd. They head down that 3,000-foot backstretch, and there's Bobby Hamilton. Won that Grand National race a couple of seasons back in Richmond in that lime green car, pulling up on number 5, Ricky Rudd.
Did you notice in that same shot, that was Harry Gant right at the rear of that shot. He just kind of moved over and let him go. It's not time for Harry yet. He said halfway on's when they'll get serious about it, and he just moves over and lets him go and lets these guys battle right now.
Gant is showing in 16th. There you see Irvin, and there's Handsome Harry, or Hammerin' Harry, as he's now known down here in the Carolinas. The old Carpenters really trying to put one together today. Had a great race yesterday. Let's go to the STP Pit Center. Here's Mike Joy.
Ken, I'm with Mike Skinner, who brought out the second caution of the day. What happened?
Well, I think what happened, we got in a little debris there when Marcus had his problem, and felt the left front was going down, but the car still felt very stable.
What caused all this?
Well, when the left front finally shredded, it cut an oil line, and the Glidden Paints car was really feeling super good. It was handling wonderful.
Well,
we're gonna get the car back out there.
Okay, I'm glad you got a fireproof suit. We'll have to get you some fireproof paint for that thing. We'll let you go back to the garage. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
30 laps are complete. 45 miles are down here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And driving off at the present time is Mark Martin. See the interval there. Back to second spot, Davey Allison, and Kowicki maintaining third, with Rusty Wallace still a stout fourth. Back of them in fifth is Schrader. Hut Strickland having a great run with Allison's car again, is in the sixth position with his Buick, followed by Jeff Bodine, Michael Waltrip, Bill Elliott, and Kyle Petty. Morgan Shepherd just outside that group in 11th. Great run in the early going for this Roush car. They've got themselves the pole today. It's pretty important they get themselves a win. A whole season without a win for that Roush team with a two-car team next year. That doesn't sound too good.
No, excuse me again.
Got one blown on Jimmy Means. Jimmy Means slowing down, dropping to the inside of the track. That's unfortunate for one of those guys that just keeps on coming out and keeps on plugging. Guy you've raced against a whole lot. Jimmy Means slowing down and coming in. We'll get a pit update for you on that shortly. Mark Martin stays up in front. Davey Allison in second. Alan Kowicki third, and Rusty Wallace in that fourth spot. Schrader is fifth. Hut Strickland in sixth. And a lonely little Buick up there at the present time.
Boy, everything looks lonely in the front except the Ford. There were four of them. They got around the Bodine car, and now there's three in the front. Rusty's trying to battle himself right now. You know, it's funny how racing goes. You'll see the Chevrolets dominate a while on the Fords, and everybody asks me what happened. When you see it, there's usually a reason for it. Ford has got some motor stuff out right now that's really working good, and all the Ford guys have really picked the pace up.
Back to Schrader comes by. Off the backstretch, now here comes the number 4, the inside. Ernie Irvin making a move on Ricky Rudd for 5th, and Hamilton coming with a correction. That is for 12th. That is for 12th spot. The number 4 car down on the bottom. Ernie Irvin right there with Ricky Rudd, and directly behind them Bobby Hamilton, and Kyle Petty is in that group. Morgan Shepherd has gone into 10th. Dale Jarrett to 11th. Ernie Irvin in a dogfight for the moment with Ricky Rudd. We've got a couple of Chevrolets been running side, as well as the Bobby Hamilton car that gets mixed in there now. That Oldsmobile up into it. And the Pontiac of Kyle Petty.
Time something like this for racing like this, you'll see something their nose in there. It slows the pace down a little bit. Then you get up under him, and you might be able to take advantage of that guy over and go with it.
Great run for Hamilton thus far today. I mean, Hamilton's having one of his best shots out here. The Nashville, Tennessee campaigner came in here in the 14th position. Stays right with the program and runs right up there with these top runners. His best finish, an 8th at Dover, Delaware, a couple of weeks back. Former champion out of that Charlotte Daytona Dash Series.
There's Ricky Rudd trying the outside of the racetrack. That part up there is usually tough early in the race. With these radial tires, the inside is not such a big advantage anymore. They can run a little bit higher with a radial.
And take a look at this. Here's 10th. Morgan Shepherd and Dale Jarrett are back at it. 15 is Shepherd. 21 is Jarrett. That turn talks about how much of a problem there is. Just watch them around there. You've had a little experience with turn 4.
I tell you what, you got to get it in there just right. You run so fast through the corners here, you don't get the car in there in the right position, the car will move up a little bit, and you can't get it back.
Jimmy Means, car number 52, came on pit road, went back out, made another lap, has come back on pit road, and is returning once again. But something is amiss on Jimmy Means, car number 52, falling well back in this race. Michael Waltrip's car number 30, currently running in 8th, giving us these pictures from the Mello Yello 500, and there'll be more in a moment.
Champion Spark Plugs presents NASCAR Legends. He was the golden boy of stock car racing. Brent Lorenzen entered the NASCAR battlegrounds after years of racing in the Midwest. He moved to NASCAR country in 1960 from Chicago without a penny in his pocket. But it wasn't long before he became a superstar. Before retiring in 1967, Lorenzen won 27 races and was the first man to win on every existing superspeedway. The man with the stunning good looks loved to run fast on the big tracks. He retired at the peak of his career, and although he came south broke, he went home to Chicago to raise his family with $400,000 in saved-up prize money. Brent Lorenzen, the golden boy, wrote his own rags to riches story. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Mark Martin continues to lead, Davey Allison, Alan Kulwicki, and Dale Earnhardt's the man charging through the pack. He is up to 16th position. Earnhardt also leads the True Value Hard Charger standings for the season. $5,000 at stake here today. Points awarded for positions 1 through 5 on every lap. Davey Allison in second. Harry Gant's strong September has vaulted him to third. Then Irvin and Schrader, the top 5 in those standings. True Value will hand out $50,000 in postseason awards to NASCAR's hardest chargers. Ken?
45 laps, 67.5 miles down. Gary Ballou has just brought his car on pit road. The story is this man, Mark Martin's Ford, out in front and continuing to run away.
And while we're watching, here's another story. Here's the 2 car, Rusty Wallace. He just passed Alan Kulwicki, and as soon as he did, he dropped to the inside of the track. I don't know if his tires, he might have lost a cylinder because he just went past pit road opening and he stayed on the racetrack.
The Miller Genuine Draft, car number 2, being driven by Rusty Wallace, that had been running in 5th spot, backing up here and dramatically, and he's dropped down really out of the racing line at this point as he maintains a little pace out of the 1st and 2nd corner. We'll be following that story. Let's follow these leaders now. Getting Sterling Marlin lapped is the job of Mark Martin for the moment, the leader in car number 6. And here you see Davey Allison running in 2nd to set lap 36, following Allison. And this Ford Triumvirate up in front is Alan Kulwicki into car number 7. Then comes the Schrader car, number 25. Here is Kulwicki maintaining that 3rd spot as they go down the backstretch. There's a lap on Kerry Teague, and Wallace is now pitted. Let's go to the pits and Randy.
Well, the speculation is down here that he did lose a cylinder. Originally came over the radio and said, "I've blown up." So the crew is, of course, looking at, well, they're under there looking. Now they've closed the hood, so they're going to send Rusty back out, but it does sound from down here that he has dropped the cylinder.
It's a shame, Ken, because he had just passed Alan Kulwicki and was making a move on the next car.
Further back in the field, this is Schrader running in the 4th spot. You see him in the backstretch. How much room does he have over Hutch Strickland? This is how much. Car number 25, Ken Schrader, won this race 2 years ago. As he moves around to put a lap on Kerry Teague, has a little bit of breathing room out here to the Allison car, number 12. There it is, that car that had that 2nd place finish up at Michigan. Then comes the 11th car of Bodine. Following Bodine is Michael Waltrip, number 30. Bill Elliott's car, number 9, is having a pretty good run. Here you are with 5th place. Hutch Strickland, that Buick that started in the 16th position. Here's Bodine, now running in 6 with the Ford of Junior Johnson. Behind him in 7, number 30, Michael Waltrip, that Pontiac. Won the Winston Open earlier this season to qualify for the Winston. Here you see the Bill Elliott car running in 8th place, number 9, and right with him comes Morgan Shepherd in the 15 and Bobby Hamilton. Bobby Hamilton, number 68, staying in 10th spot. How about Dale Jarrett today, running 11th and looking very strong right now?
I tell you, the Wood brothers have really picked the pace of the win at Michigan. Certainly gave him a shot in the arm, and Dale's been doing a heck of a job in the car.
So after him, you go back to the 12th spot. And there you find Ernie Irvin in the number 4. And he's got his hands full with Ricky Rudd in car number 5 right there. That's for 12th. So where's Harry Gant in all of this? The guy that keeps on winning? Oh, he's just running along like he usually does right now. Good, steady 14th position for old Hammer and Harry. Don't think he's too flustered, too worried.
He made a statement the other day. He said, "You know, I'm not a real good race car driver."
That's one of those problems that you can't ever really solve. Except if people would be a little more litter conscious, I think it would help. You get a big crowd, massive crowd, everything sold out here today in the front straightaway, and that does happen. I wish the fans would be a little more particular. Take a look at this battle as Hamilton in the number 68, having a dandy day, fights for ninth and takes it away from Morgan Shepherd, who gets sideways up in turn 4. Bobby Hamilton out of Nashville having a great run.
Here comes Dale Jarrett down the inside, trying also to get around Bill Elliott.
Dale Jarrett in the number 21 and the number 9 car on the outside. Bill Elliott putting out a good scrap. Elliott won 1 race this season. And of course, next year the story is that he's going to Junior. His brother will be building V6 engines for him to run in Grand National competition for some 12 races, and being a regular engine builder for Bernstein and Brentwood Eye. Here's Elliott trying the inside now. As you watch this battle, it's taking place with Dale Jarrett. Scramble is back here in 10th spot. They're having a pretty good time.
I tell you, it sort of looked like a lot of fun to me. I can remember riding in that 21, and it was always fun in Charlotte.
Battle for third. Closing down is Schrader on Kowicki. Second turn, back straight away now, and Schrader has his sights set on car number 7. Closes him down another car length. Schrader always runs well here.
He runs good here, but also Alan Kowicki was right up in the middle of it a while ago. Rusty Wallace had just passed him before he had a problem. He's fading just a little bit, and Schrader's really fixing to take advantage of it.
Lap 55, 82.5 miles down in the Mello Yello 500 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Putting a lap on Jimmy Means is Kowicki, and Schrader coming right with him. 3 early cautions in the event. Then it's running caution 3 since about the 20-lap mark. And here's Schrader ready to make a serious move to break up this Ford domination of the front 3 spots. Why do Fords run so well here?
See, Charlotte, Charlotte has always been a torque racetrack, a real torquey track where you really had to run off the corner. If that's ever been the case, it's right now because they're running so hard through the corner. And they just have to, here in Atlanta and Dover, it's a place where you have to really work a car in the corner. These guys perform well.
Well, let's pick it back up on the point battlers. Dale Earnhardt was 19th when he made that pit stop under caution for 4 tires. He took the restart green flag in 33rd spot. But Earnhardt has come charging through the field. He is now in 14th place, just ahead of Harry Gant on your screen, and just 1 spot behind the man he's racing for the Winston Cup Championship, Ricky Rudd.
Trying to close him down, but he's got some distance here. It's about 5 or 6 seconds between Rudd in that car number 5 and Earnhardt. There's the number 4 getting underneath car number 9 for 11th spot. Bernie Irvin goes under Bill Elliott, and here comes Rudd right with him. Lap 58 in this scramble. Ricky Rudd staying up here today, needing a strong finish if he has any hope of a run at Earnhardt over the last 3 races for the Winston Cup title. Back they come to the line another time. Looks like they could even make them 3 wide. Back to the inside comes number 4, Ernie Irvin, making that move on the bottom and staying there beneath Bill Elliott. And here comes Ricky Rudd with him. Ricky Rudd, because of the points battle, is there a lot of pressure here to do well?
Well, I really don't feel pressure for the position. We've led the point standings in the month of April and May, and since then we've been second ever since behind Dale. Really, there is no pressure. Right now, the time is running out. We've got 4 races left, and Dale had a good run at Wilkesboro last week, won the race, and put us in a little bit of a bind. We've got 112 points to try to make up, and we've only got 4 races to do it in, so we've got to get busy.
Meanwhile, back on the speedway at lap 59, something is amiss with Schrader. He is driven down on the pit road, and he's going right back to the garage area. That looks like an engine hand grenade.
He's a smart enough mechanic about motors. He knows this thing's going to the garage. He had the motor off. He went past pit road. He cranked it back up. And when he cranked it, big puff of smoke. That thing's history.
So Schrader is out of it. The 89 winner of this event, Ken Schrader, who was making that move on that Ford domination of Martin Allison, who was challenging Kowicki in third, becomes history. That happens at lap 59. We're now at 60.
You start asking, there's the Fords all up front. Rusty was chasing him. Rusty blew up. Here comes Schrader, takes up the battle. He runs him down. He blows up. It's working him awful hard to catch the leaders.
Meanwhile, look at this battle in first position. Number 6, Martin, and closing once again is Davey Allison. That's the 007 car. That car was introduced here at Charlotte 1 year ago. It won this race. It came back, won the Winston in May, and won the 600. And is closing down again. The line pops away another time. He just comes out like a cork out of a bottle.
Ken, these guys aren't but about 5 or 6 or maybe 7 laps away from a normal pit stop, and it's beneficial to be up front. You know, Davey's trying to get as close as he can, so after they pit, they come out together.
We'll be back to follow that pit stop story in a moment. 62 laps are complete. Martin stays in front. Allison challenging in second. We're back with you. 66 laps complete, and all the leaders are coming in at this time, taking on fuel and tires. Davey Allison was the first man in. He did a 4-tire change. He was followed by Mark Martin. He's been in. Alan Kowicki is pitted, and everybody is taking an opportunity here to come on pit road. Here's the stop just moments ago on the Davey Allison car as they went around all 4.
If you look in the left rear window, you see Joey Knuckles turning the jack screw on the left rear of the car. Not only did they put tires on that thing, they said they were putting the stuff that ran last time. They're trying to adjust the car a little bit better. Kill the motor, leaving off the jack stand. Going to cost him just a little bit on the green like that.
That was the first, and now here was Mark Martin a few moments ago. This is in replay.
Here's the guy that's leading the race. You don't see them cranking on those jack screws. When you're leading, you're pretty... I say that. Here's the guy right now cranking a round or 2 in the right rear. Even though he's leading the race, they're changing the car. Both of them make adjustments.
And Charlotte is the track where you see them make adjustments all day.
If you're content with yourself and be leading the race, you'll be 10th on the next one. You got to work with it.
And here's Ricky Rudd. This is live at this moment. Ricky Rudd on pit road. Rudd's car number 5. He's been back just outside the top 10. Remember, he is the one trying to challenge Earnhardt in that point battle for that $1 million bonus at the end of the season.
I tell you, they've got to stay on top of that point. Like what they need to do is lead the race, and that's hard to do nowadays.
Now, up in front is car number 11, Bodine. Here's Harry Gantz, number 33. He had them running third. Randy Pemberton's down with him.
And they're going to take on 4 tires in the Harry Gant car, or are they? They're on the right side at this particular time. No chassis adjustment at all. They're going around on the left side at this particular time. The second California Cal gas is in. They are taking on 4 tires.
Time clicking back into the 22nd range on Harry Gant as they're taking no chances on number 33.
Well, it's just too early for Harry to worry about running. Well, they'll just stick his more tires on that thing all day. He'll just plug away at it, and he'll get serious when this thing gets down to the end.
He was so serious at North Wilkesboro a week ago, dominating as he did for those final 9 laps, and he just sort of walked away with a big record ski. Now, there's the leader, number 11, Bodine. That big record run he had came to an end, and it was like another day, just another dog biscuit.
There's going to be another thing happen when this 11 car pits. He's due a pit stop real soon. Earnhardt made the early pit stop. As soon as this 11 car stops, Dale is second. He's going to get the bonus points. That early pit stop that was actually a problem is going to pay off if he can stay out till the 11 pits.
Because he's out of sync with the field. Earnhardt in number 3, currently shown in second place. Remember, he dropped all the way to the rear, and has happened so many times at Charlotte and a lot of these super speedways. If you get out of sync with the field, it can work to your advantage. Not always.
Yeah, not only that, but with each team taking on 4 tires, you almost certainly will lose a lap doing that. So when Jeff Bodine and Dave Marcus and Sterling Marlin make their stops, Earnhardt will be a lap ahead of the field, and there'll be a lot of crossed fingers on pit road, hoping there's no caution until he has to come in.
Earnhardt running right behind Greg Sachs. Excuse me, going right by Greg Sachs. Let's go down on pit road and see what happened to Ken Schrader.
Well, Ken Schrader is behind pit road in the garage area. You've been here a long time. What are they doing under the hood?
They're looking for a problem. It ought to be pretty easy to find because we got serious problems up there. We lost a cylinder or something.
Yeah, they've had both rocker covers off, and they still haven't found the problem. And if they do, it's not too optimistic that anything is going to happen here. Randy Pemberton's got another story. Randy?
Well, Jim Bodine is in the Budweiser Ford Thunderbird. Tim Brewer on the right side. The right side tires are going on. Eddie now cleaning the windshield. They're coming around. Definitely a 4-tire stop. A major wedge adjustment on the left-hand side. It looks like, Neil, they put in about 3 rounds of wedge. A pretty good pit stop overall so far.
Car number 11 comes back out, and this gives that lead, as Neil was talking about, at lap 73 to Earnhardt. Pretty good comeback.
Everybody would say, nice strategy. You can forget that they had troubles early in the race. They kind of fell in their lap to the lead.
You're riding with Davey Allison now with a Hamilton car camera giving you these pictures, as Davey Allison is shown in 5th position after all of these pit stops. Earnhardt, coming from nowhere, gets himself the lead for the moment, but he is about to pit. He's coming down pit road, and guess what? Dave Marcus, who has yet to pit, for the moment has the lead. 5 points for David. That's not bad. Let's follow Earnhardt onto pit road. And Dick Berggren is there.
Well, the Flying Aces are over the wall. Kirk Shelmerdine handles the right front. He's also a pretty good race car driver. Won an event here yesterday. David Smith, the Jackman, ready to do the left side. Earnhardt with a little smile on his face. This thing is running better than it had been running earlier in the day. 4-tire change. They'll just keep adjusting on this car all day long. And Earnhardt, you can count on him being strong as this race wears on.
4-time Winston champion comes back on the track as Dave Marcus pulls in just behind him in car number 71. Here's a guy that's been here as long as anyone except for Richard Petty.
And the guy's plenty capable. When he won races in Winston Cup and he's got his own operation, he drives the heck out of the race car.
Car number 71, Dave Marcus, who had the lead for a moment, now brings the car back out. I think he followed Earnhardt down, so he didn't get that opportunity to get that 5 points. He came in just on the tail end. He was about a third to a half a lap behind him, pulled on pit road. Here's Michael Waltrip's car number 30, giving us these pictures as the race settles back down at lap number 75, 112 miles into the event. Get you a rundown in just a moment after these pit stops, with Mark Martin showing first, like it was before, and Davey Allison in second with Sterling Marlin, now the 3rd place car, Alan Kowicki 4th, and Morgan Shepherd 5th. That makes it a quintet of Fords up in front. 5 Fords leading this time.
Whenever GM product has tried to chase them, it's had a little bit of problem. They're setting a tough pace right now, and it's going to take a good race car to run these guys down.
A year ago, it was Ford at the end with Davey Allison victorious. But don't forget that Schrader was there the year prior with that Chevrolet car. There's that 2nd place machine, Davey Allison. For the moment, Sterling Marlin has himself a 3rd spot. Jimmy Means has been in and out several times. As he falls down in this field, he's being shown 37th overall. So that means he's just in front of some retirees. Dropping back, you get a look here at that 3rd place man, the Ford of Sterling Marlin, out of the Junior Johnson stable, the Maxwell House car, lapping Waltrip another time in the 17. Darrell's being shown 23rd.
Ken Sterling was out of sync also. He's out of sync. You know, he got lapped on the green a while ago, and he's wanted stretching the fuel mileage. He's hoping for a caution right now. If he get a caution, he's back in the lead lap. If not, he's fixing to have to pit and go down.
Here's your 4th place car, Alan Kowicki, now up in turn 3 through 4. Alan Kowicki, and coming on the pit road again is Richard Petty in car number 43. Well back in this race, had trouble early. If you're just joining us, he had one of those incidents early on that brought out a caution flag. He's back underway quickly. Richard Petty back to the attack, being shown in 17th place. Dropping back through the field here as Alan Kowicki stays in 4th. Let's take you back to the 5th place man. Here's Kowicki. Now here comes that car that had been up in front here. The number 22 that was out of sync with the field, showing 3rd. Back with that big gash on the left side from that incident with Richard Petty early on, Sterling Marlin.
Well, this will be the last of these scheduled green flag pit stops for Sterling Marlin as they put right side and likely all 4 tires on the Junior Johnson car. A little bit of monkey see, monkey do. When one of the quick cars puts on 4, almost everybody does. Big gainer in this round of pit stops was Morgan Shepherd in the Bud Moore car. He was 9th running under green when he started the pit stop round. There's a look at Shepherd. He comes out of this in 4th place. Big loser was perhaps Bobby Hamilton, who went into the pits in 7th, came back out on the track under green after it all sorts out in 10th spot. Ken?
You see the 49 car of Stan Smith from Alabama, who was running for Rookie of the Year, and is running. Currently is being shown fourth in those rookie standings. And for the moment, Stan Smith in this event is 27th on the day. The 15 car of Morgan Shepherd is your 5th place. Of course, he's moving on next year. How do you think that's going to work out?
Morgan's moved over to the Wood Brothers. They've really got their car running a lot better. For whatever the reason, Morgan's leaving Bud Moore. I can't help but think when they get together, they can get the Wood Brothers car and win some races. You know, Dale did a good job, won Michigan with it, so there's a lot of strength, a lot of potential.
Giving him a good run right now is Smith. Take a look at Earnhardt and Irvin back in the field. This is 9th spot.
Ernie's right in front of Dale. I say right in front. He was right in front. He's moved out a little bit.
And Hamilton's into it, too. Hamilton's having a heck of a day. The number 68 car.
Every time we show some guys contending for the lead, he's been right there with them. He's holding his own.
Ernie Irvin now 8th. Earnhardt is 9th. Hamilton is 10th. This at lap 82. 334 laps make the distance to be run here today. And hard-bitted old Dale Earnhardt takes that bit in the mouth and begins to run with it now. He wants to get Irvin down and go look for those leaders.
Dale seems to be able to make up a lot of time in the corners, as we see right here. He really runs the car down hard in the corner at this place.
Always has.
Yeah, and you know, you pay that price. You know, you really zink the car up in the corner, then you turn a lot more RPM. So he works on the car.
Battle for 4th position. Morgan Shepherd is in 4th. Jeff Bodine, number 11, trying to take it away. Bodine's had not that much luck in this particular race. This hasn't favored him at all.
Had to set out the first race of the year here. He was hurt. And had to set out and get the run. He certainly wanted to run a good day. He said that trying to make up for the way he missed the race earlier in the year.
Hurt. He broke his ribs, punctured his lung, and he drove home about an hour from the track. And then his wife took him to the hospital. That's Bodine's tough. Of course, his dad did the same thing. His dad got mixed up with a chainsaw one time and cut right down through to the bone in the thigh. Just took his belt off, put it around his leg, and drove himself to the hospital.
I doubt they have curb service out in the woods. You had to drive yourself in.
85 laps are now complete. Mark Martin continues to lead. Allison second, Kowicki third. And there's that battle for 4th continuing.
Have been paid by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, maker of Goodyear Eagles, the choice of every team and every driver at every Winston Cup race. Okay. And by First Brands Corporation, maker of STP racing products. And by the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
Our pilots fly the world's most advanced aircraft. We keep the planes in top flight condition.
Welcome back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Mark Martin continuing to lead the 500 here. This beautiful array of Sears Craftsman tool, chest, and rollaway will be presented by TBS. One of the top crew chiefs in today's event is voted by our pit reporting team. It's quite a bit to haul home. Ken Squire?
Well, we just seen Kyle Petty go down a lap to the Mark Martin car at lap number 90. And we are also watching, as you see Kyle diving in here in car number 42. He's being shown in 15th place, 1 lap down. Car number 2 is just behind him in 16th spot, and there's smoke beginning to pour out of the back of that one.
They just radioed word, Rusty did, that he thought the motor was seizing up, and also the black flag is in the hand of the starter. They haven't put it on him yet, but they're certainly looking at that car. Rusty said he thinks the motor is seizing up now.
Here's Rusty Wallace back down the chute under Rick Wilson, car number 8. Not a good day for Rusty Wallace, who had high hopes bringing this one home. The 88 winner of the event. Like he's got some big problem as there's a cloud roosting over that rear bumper.
When he said he cooked the motor a while ago, he probably boiled all the water out of the thing, or a good deal of it. And right now the thing is just on self-bake. He's fixing to. But the problem is he's flying. You know, he's still running fast, but how long can it do it before the thing blows away?
Don't they usually run a little faster right here?
This is when they feel,
say good night.
They feel real good, and then they feel real bad in a hurry.
Randy Pemberton is down there with Rusty Wallace's crew chief. Let's find out what's going on.
Eddie Dickerson talking with a NASCAR official. Just one moment, we'll get a story here. They're discussing the smoking problem, of course, with the other competitors out there.
I promise he's saying, no, it's not smoking.
Eddie, what's the problem?
Right now, we got some sort of a transmission grease problem coming out of the vent, I guess.
car's smoking a little bit. Her lap times aren't off. Rusty says he smells rear injuries. Sounds like it could be a transmission's over full, or right now I don't know. We're about 6 laps away from a scheduled stop, so we're going to get 4 tires and do what we have to.
So it's not in the nose, it's in the tail.
Well, we're hearing 2 different stories. We're monitoring from the race car, and they say engine season up. Whenever it smokes, you want to get them looking the other direction, or they'll park you.
They threw him a curve?
I don't know, but it's I can almost tell that it's smoking from here.
94 laps have now been completed, and there are problems for Rusty Wallace with 141 miles down in this 500-mile race. Wallace has dropped off a lap and is running in the 16th position. Here comes Earnhardt in car number 3, and he's coming with a vengeance now after that 7th place man, Morgan Shepherd. Got him.
Did we mark this down, Ken? We actually see a Chevrolet passing Ford today. It's the first time it's happened all day long.
I think you're going to see it some more. He's getting ready to get real serious. And we still have a ways to go before Harry Gant, that lumbering bear, comes out of hibernation and starts chewing a little. He'll be hungry about midway in the race.
Yeah, I was down there a while ago, and they were asking Harry, said, how do you think you run? They said, I don't know. He just waits and lets it happen.
I think the best conversation was with Mark Martin earlier and Davey Allison. They said to Davey, he said, Mark is really strong. He said, hey, if I had to pick him, at Harry Gant. Here's Harry in the number 33, running at 13th spot. No kidding. Racing Road called up on Monday. Talked to Johnny Hayes. I said, can I talk to Harry? He said, no, you can't. What do you mean I can't talk to him? He said, well, he's busy. I said, what's he doing? He said, well, they've got him down at the restaurant washing windows. So $370,000. Here's Ricky Rudd going a lap down in car number 5. The 14th place car drops back a lap. Getting a complete rundown for you. First portion of the race as Ricky Rudd in car number 5 seems to be off his feet a little here.
Boy, he doesn't need that, Jim. This race is so pivotal on the points thing. And for him to go down this early in the race, he's just off with the race car, and it's going to be hard to get it dialed back in and take a lap back away from these Fords up front.
It's been a one-man show from the outset with Mark Martin out in front, Davey Allison running in second, Alan Kowicki in third. It's pretty much been the story since they dropped the green on lap 1.
I tell you, he's making it look easy, and that's what scares you. When you see somebody lead the race this easily, and you got to remember, on the pit stop, he made chassis adjustment. So did Davey Allison, but still Mark is able to take the lead and go away with it.
And Mark Martin stays out in front here, Neil, and that car number 6 for Jack Roush looked very strong all week. You might think that would be cause for optimism in the Folgers camp, but they're not always as they seem.
Usually when we win practice with the Folgers Thunderbird, we get our brains beat in the race. So I'm not real excited right now. It's been a long time coming. This is the strongest we've been anywhere all year. I don't know what's going to go wrong.
Now that does not sound like optimism to me at all. Here he is about to put a lamp on Harry Gant running in 13th position, but he sounds gun-shy.
I tell you what I believe I would do. I believe I'd throw practice a time or two, just not practice fast, because it seems to be an omen. When they run fast in practice, they kind of give it up in the race, but it looks like they've got the entire package this week.
Well, here's Harry Gant on the tail end of the lead lap, and the leader of the race trying to put him a lap down. And I'm sure Andy Petry's on the radio saying, Harry, now's the time to get with the program.
Yeah, I'm sure Harry, when he looked in that mirror, he's aware who's driving that car in the position. Here's 15 coming down pit road, Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan Shepherd's car that is in 11th position is on pit road. This at lap 101, folks keeping track. The 101st lap, you see Morgan come in. Right side rubber going on the Butmore car.
And Ken, that's early. 65 laps on the first pit stop. They're coming in a little bit early this time. There goes Gant. He has been lapped, and that didn't happen in October, in September. I'm sorry. He had everything going his way, and he's got some work ahead of him now.
Take a look at those lap leaders, Neil. Mark Martin out in front the first 65 laps. Bodine gets a little bit of a break there for a moment under some pit stops. Earnhardt same. Then once again at lap 102 now from 75 on. Again, it's been all that Folgers car.
The only time anyone else has led this race was when Mark Martin decided to come in get off the racetrack.
Coming in very slowly on pit road is car 30, Waltrip. And when I say slowly, that's because of that 50 mile. You look at, gosh, there's got to be something wrong out there. They need to get in there. The intensity of the battle on the racetrack and that flag they're putting out, holding that radar over their heads, passing out tickets around here. And the penalty is not a fine and 3 points on your license, but it's a lap. That hurts.
They pit at the speed you run on the interstate highways, your maximum speed, and it looks like these race cars are stopped.
Looks like 15 miles an hour.
It feels like it. Mark Martin really working traffic well. When you have a car running as good as his, a lot of times traffic holds you up. When you're running as well as Mark is doing right now, you can go anywhere on the racetrack.
Michael Waltrip was in 6th place when he made that pit stop, and he's back out again.
Well, interesting story on the lead car, Mark Martin's car. That is the car he almost won his first race in here. But they didn't win it. They had a flat tire 2 or 3 years ago. They took the thing to Rockingham, and they did win their first race with it. The car, however, has been sitting in the garage still for a year. They had so much bad luck, so many things have gone wrong. They said, let's bring that old car out. And they have, and they are flying. Martin's instructions to his crew, he really likes the way it's handling right now. He should. They're on a rail.
Dick Bergman, that thing's been sitting on jack stands for a year. They certainly blew the dust off of it and got it in good shape.
That's right. They dusted it very nicely, thank you. Here's the 95 car going down another lap. Kerry Teague out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. Earl Sadler brought that car in. Texaco Power-Up Chevrolet. Bill Elliott going a lap down. Do you believe it? That car number 6 isn't a race car. That's a mowing machine.
And he did that coming off 4th turn before he got on the shot there. He went above one car, under another, and passed Elliott in one straightaway. His car is rolled.
So, as matters now stand, Bill Elliott is going to go a lap down as Mark Martin continues this assault on the record book. After a few cautions in the early going, it's been caution-free. Pretty much Mark Martin's race to win or lose. Our records. The year was 1973. It was here in Charlotte in the 500. David Pearson had set on the pole, but he wrecked in car 11. Cale Yarborough was the story of the race. With only 2 caution flags, he blistered the field. But late in the going, he had to pit the Junior Johnson Chevrolet for fuel, and Richard Petty's Dodge took the lead. That led to this wild pass in the final moments as Cale went on to win the race and set the record at 145.240 miles an hour, a record that stood up for 2 years. And today, the record's only some 4 miles an hour faster than what Cale did in 73.
Dealing with the oil cooler in the back end of the car, they're looking at the oil lines, but I am not positive as to this point. I couldn't get a word with Rusty because he's going to work on this race car. They are also changing the transmission. That's going in underneath the car as we look at it.
Randy, that area they're working on right there is the oil tank where all the engine oil is. They might have that thing leaking some oil. It looked like they were putting a new gasket in the oil tank. That area there contains every bit of the engine oil stored right behind the driver, and that seems to be the area they're working on.
How many quarts of oil in there these days?
24 quarts, and there's about 2 quarts in the engine at the most at any time. The rest of it is in the lines and in that tank, and if that thing's leaking some fluid out there, that's where the smoke is coming from.
So that's the story on Rusty Wallace in car number 2. Meanwhile, Mark Martin continues to prowl out in front in the Roush number 6, the leader of this race, with Davey Allison sustaining that 2nd spot. Here's your leader. Moving around Barry Dotson's car just in front of them there as they come down the main straightaway. The 24 going down another lap. Jimmy Hensley is in that car today. The Ridgeway, Virginia driver had a great run in yesterday's 300-miler. And Mike Joy will be telling you more about that as our day progresses. Take a look at Ernie Urban out here, and Dale Earnhardt added another time. That's for 6th spot.
Ken, what's really crazy about that, Dale just drove by Ernie just a few laps ago, and then Ernie drives back by. It seems like it kind of woke him up and said, hey, I'm fixing to take off and run these guys down up front. Once Dale passed him, he came back right on back by him and seems to be pulling out a little bit.
Ernie Urban in 6th, Earnhardt in 7th, and just in front of them is that number 11 car. That's Jeff Bodine, who's holding up in 5th spot. Rick Wilson has pitted and come back out.
Let me tell you, Ken, not so much what's in front of them, but that number 6 car is really closing on Earnhardt and those guys. It'll just be a few laps they're going to have to pick the pace up, or they're going to be in jeopardy of losing a lap also shortly.
Well, there are 9 cars left in the lead lap at this point, 117 laps into this thing, and that's one of the problems, I believe, with this slowing down and getting back up. It seems like we get a lot more interval, and we're dropping off those number of cars in the lead lap faster than we used to.
Well, the pit action, certainly, you know, when you could come down pit road sailing there wide open to keep everybody bunched up. But just every now and then, a car like this is doing right now will virtually stink up the show. He'll just get out there and he'll drive away. Davey did it to the 600. Here's Mark Martin. He's really putting some good race cars a lap down, and it's going to be hard for him to get back in the lead lap.
But Davey Allison stays right with him, stays about 20 car lengths behind the leader. There is the leader, Martin, and there you see the 68, Bobby Hamilton, who is in 9th spot and could go down a lap right here.
Who is a real good race car and being passed very easily.
Bobby Hillen's number 53 in the middle of the Moroso car, and the word is that next year it'll be a Wallace in that Moroso car, Mike Wallace.
There's so many Wallaces I can't keep up with it. It might be a Wallace in every other car.
He had 5 sets of brothers in the Grand National race out here yesterday in that 300, which had that dramatic finish. Again, Mike will have more later. Take a look at Alan Kowicki's car number 7. Remember, he's in 3rd, but he's got his hands full. As he comes out of the corner, lapping Jimmy Spencer, right behind him is Terry Labonte. And within about 15 car lengths of him is Hutch Strickland. Hutch having a very good day up to 4th. But it's Alan Kowicki that stays 3rd. He's been there almost since the outset. Alan Kowicki, what's the key to winning at Charlotte?
You know, sometimes conditions will change, but I don't, you know, they're the same for everybody. So, you know, hopefully we're smart enough to make good guesses on the setups and that, and it's a little better than a roll of the dice, but there's always some variables that are out of your control. The key to winning this race, running well, staying out of trouble. You know, got to be there at the end with the car 100%. You know, there'll be some quick cars early in the race that won't be there at the end, and got to be there at the end 100%.
Well, he was there in Phoenix in '88. He was there in Dover in '90, and of course this year at Bristol. See what's going to happen with Alan Kowicki today.
Ken, when he says 100%, he doesn't necessarily mean he's got to have all the fenders still on it and all the tires in good shape. These motors kind of self-destruct all day long. They hammer the valve springs all day. They turn a lot of RPM. The thing might have a 650 horsepower motor. At the end of the race, you might be dealing with 550.
Take a look at this. Coming down, car number 12, Hutch Strickland in 4th. Here comes Bodine, closing in on him in 5th. Ernie Irvin is right there in 6th. Earnhardt is in 7th. A good scrap a little further back in the field. Watch Hutch Strickland. They had that great race with Davey Allison back in June up in Michigan. Gave him a tremendous battle. There's Bobby Allison, proud of both. Number 12 car is the Buick. That is running in 4th. Hutch Strickland is there. Tall, rangy kid, Alabama. Very pleasant guy. Didn't he race in that?
Raced them at Birmingham. He's an excellent short track racer, and then he's adapted to these big racetracks and really producing for Bobby Allison's race team.
And he's drawing Bodine by a couple of car lengths coming off the second turn. He loses it on the other end of the racetrack. But up here in 1 or 2, he seems to have that car really work.
Ken, that's what we're talking about. The Ford Motor stuff is really making some power nowadays. About 3 months ago, they came up with some stuff that really livened them up, and they've been strong ever since.
Remember, Bodine in the number 11 is the 5th place car as he continues to challenge Hutch Strickland and finds himself under pressure from Ernie Irvin back there. 4th, 5th, and 6th, really good stuff. What did they really get to those Fords that made the difference?
I think everybody would like to know, but I think there was a lot of work done on the heads, on the engines, some upper work on the RPM stuff where they can turn motors comparable to Chevrolet RPMs, and they really got them working now.
Well, there's one Ford on the outside that's under heavy challenge now. Ernie Irvin is on the inside. The fight for 5th, and Ernie Irvin is there. Jeff Bodine, high side, number 11. Ernie Irvin, bottom of the racetrack at lap 125, going into turn number 1. Davey Allison, running in 2nd place, is pitting. Davey Allison is in, as is Dale Jarrett, who is running in 8th. Joe Ruttman is also pitting at this time.
Yeah, let's see if we can tell if they put any bite in the car.
Let's go to Dick Berger.
Well, there's been an awful lot of faking going on pit road. Davey Allison and Alan Kowicki are pitting side by side. Each crew gestures like they're going to come in, then they don't, then they gesture again. Right now, Davey is the first one in. 4 tires, good stop, 22.48 seconds for Davey Allison.
Dick Berger, whatever they did on that other pit stop chassis-wise, they're content with it. They didn't make a chassis adjustment that time.
Bill Elliott is coming on the pit road. Derek Cope takes this opportunity to come on. Larry Pearson is in as well. Here's that leader, Mark Martin. Kowicki now second. Strickland coming to third. Ernie Irvan to fourth. Bodine up to fifth. And 6 is Earnhardt. And leaves the 6 cars in the lead lap for the moment.
6, and also he's right on the back door of Dale Earnhardt. He's about probably 25, 30 car lengths behind him. But pit stops are coming up, and that's a strong 2 with Earnhardt crew. Maybe they can pick some of it up for him.
And the 6th car that is having such a good run. Here's you watch Bill Elliott's car number 9. They've done this since the very first of the race.
It seemed like a long pit stop, but 31 seconds is not too bad, but did have a little bit of trouble somewhere.
Waiting to see if number 6 will come in this time. That's not the case, but Alan Kowicki running in second does. Here's Dick Berger.
Well, they're going to try to adjust his car a little bit, at least with tires, Ken. Paul Andrews said that the car is a little bit loose. They'd like to tighten it up so it'll get through the corners just a little bit better. Nobody is adjusting wedge. They are going to make a 4-tire change. The original plan was a 2-tire change. But see, they watch each other on pit road, and they'll do what everybody else does. Nobody wants to get caught behind. Kowicki up for the left side tires, and he has gone a better stop than Davey Allison at 21.82.
Kyle Petty just pitting, and Smith in car number 49. Stan Smith is also on pit road. There's Kyle's pit stop. Mark Martin stays out in front. Bud Strickland has yet to pit. But he's pretty careful about that 50-mile-per-hour limit on pit road. You don't want to get caught here.
It's not too bad to get caught speeding on the interstate.
What we got a spin down at turn number 4. 1 car loose and tagging the wall. Car number 95, Kerry Teague, and we've got more trouble. It looks like Ernie Irvan has been collected in this. Coming under caution. That'll be a break for car number 6, Mark Martin. And it'll be a break for Strickland as well. Ernie Irvan was in third when he got collected off Teague's car.
Also, there we were just talking, he's fixing to lap Earnhardt, and this comes out, they're costing people, and I tell you what, the Ernie Irvan almost made it by this wreck.
Under caution, 4th time today, 130th lap, major altercation in turn 4. We'll show it to you in a moment. Under caution, and pit road is closed. No one allowed on it with this incident just at the entry to pit road, which has destroyed the car currently shown in 3rd place in the Winston Cup standings, Ernie Irvan. Now the leader is coming down onto pit road at 30 miles per hour. Are they opening it up now?
They opened it up, Ken, but they reduced the speed limit. They said you can come in, but you got to back it down to 30 because of the damage on pit road.
So Darrell Waltrip and Mark Martin are now the first 2 in. Let's go down to Randy Pember.
Welcome to Mark Martin pit. Mark Martin just made the understatement of the world here prior to that caution flag. He said the car is running good. Just changed 4 tires, fill it up with gas, and let's go. So they're on the left-hand side now. Robin Pemberton and Steve Meal working on that side. And nothing unusual. Get ready to drop it. He's going back out racing.
Let's take a look at what happened up here in turn 4 when the back marker got out of control and collected the 3rd place man in the Winston Cup point bet.
Here we're up in the 3rd and 4th turn. 95 car, the white car on the inside, coming along right on the inside. Okay, there's the aerodynamics. The 71 car pulling the air off of that 95. The rear wheels coming out from the car. Nobody touches him, just loses traction. He starts coming around, and he's going to back up the racetrack some. He's got so much speed up. He got the front wheels on the flat area. Here comes the 94 car, and just went past him, barely cleared him. He's going to go up, back it into the wall, and this is where the trouble starts. It gives him a shot back down across the racetrack. That's 24 degrees of banking. The car is not going to stay up there. He starts coming back across the track. If you'll watch coming in frame, the yellow car of Ernie Irvan, nowhere to go, and this wipes out the 4 car. Here we see it from another angle. Ernie Irvan trying his best to get out of the way, and it virtually rips the rear end out from under the 4 car.
Dick Berggren is standing by with Ernie Irvan.
And you've just watched what was left of your car go by, but you're all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. You know, it's a shame. You know, we wrecked our first car in first practice after qualifying, had to bring out the backup, and had the car really working good, come from back of the pack, got up, I think, to third or second, I'm not sure. And the car was driving pretty good, you know, it was a little loose, and it's a shame that, you know, we got some of these guys racing this division that haven't run any other divisions, and that's what took me out.
Can you ask him about what happened up there? Was his spotter on the radio to him to tell him to stay down and try to avoid that?
What happened with your spotter? Did your spotter tell you where to go or not?
Well, he did, but I was already committed. I'd seen the car back up against the wall, and I'd committed to go to the low side because that's where I'd already just saw the low side. And spotter had already said high while I was going low. High would have been the right way to go, and you know, when a car backed up into the wall, I thought it might stay up against the wall and slide on out that way. Instead, it came down across the track.
Things happen fast, don't they?
They sure do. You know, they always tell you, you know, to go high on some of these deals. But once you make the commitment, you know, that the cars are loose in the middle of the corner, and once you make that commitment, you can't turn back or you'd spin yourself. So.
Well, we're glad you're in better shape than your race car.
There you see it, Kerry T. A new driver to Winston Cup. You're at Charlotte for the first time, collecting Ernie Irvin.
Ken, I've had people second guess me, say, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? I'd love to have that luxury, that replay to make decisions. You don't have it.
Yeah. Let's get a Goodyear Racing update at this time from Mike Joy.
Thank you, Ken. Here's our first Goodyear Eagle update of the afternoon. Busy day at Charlotte Motor Speedway yesterday. First of two events, the Duran Wallpaper 100, and Kirk Shelmerdine, Dale Earnhardt's Sunday crew chief, no stranger to victory lane. He won it. Later on, the Busch Grand National cars took to the Speedway for their event. There's Ward Burton, the record-setting pole sitter up front. And Morgan Shepherd cuts down an oil line. That's Shepherd up in the wall. And the melee ensues behind him. The field all stacks up. Earnhardt kind of got through it. There's Harry Gant, number 7, scooting through several cars damaged. Then Jack Sprague in 48 leaking some oil down on the Speedway going into turn number 1. And Cecil Unit gets in it and around, taps Sprague, backs up into the wall. A bit later on, Shauna Robinson driving Ed Ferree's car slides off the wall. Watch the pace car on the left scramble to get out of the way. Shauna Robinson, wife of Eddie Pearson, went to the hospital, released this afternoon uninjured. Burton, even on worn tires, scoots away here from Kenny Wallace and Dale Jarrett, who were on new rubber, but Burton ran out of gas. Coasted in with just 12 laps to go, had missed an opportunity under caution to pit, and old Mr. September, Harry Gant, with a broken bushing in the rear end, driving the car sideways down the front straightaway. He drove it home to victory lane. There's the results of the Duran 100. Shelmerdine, Mark Cox, T.W. Taylor, the pole sitter who started out back in the scratch position. And in the Busch Series, Kenny Wallace takes over the point lead, the 8th time it's flip-flopped between he and Bobby Labonte this season.
Thank you very much, Mike Joy. That Goodyear Racing update. And at this moment, everybody is standing here in the grandstand area, sold out, as car number 12, Hut Strickland, with that Buick that had been running in 4th place. And the last car in the lead lap is retiring. And you can see there what's amiss.
Ken, and the thing blew up on the caution flag. That sounds crazy, but sometimes it happens. He was running good. He's right around the caution. All of a sudden, something happens to the motor.
So Bobby Allison's car number 12, the Rebestas car, goes back to the garage area. Young Hut Strickland, the newest superstar of the Alabama gang, is going to find it a very long day from here. It's harder after a race like this when you run so hard than if you'd actually been out there playing all afternoon, isn't it, Neil?
Yeah, I tell you, it's tough. Makes for a long, long day.
So we're still under caution, getting ready to get back to business with Mark Martin leading. Earnhardt is second. Bodine is third in the Mello Yello 500, 135 complete. From the Pennzoil Motor Oil aerial platform, you see some of the great Charlotte Motor Speedway. There's some 52 suites that were sold out before they ever were constructed here at this great racing facility. And a duplication of this is taking place just down the road over in Atlanta, Georgia. They're doing to that track what they did to Charlotte over the past 10 years. And the gentleman that is putting that together and has high hopes for his November 17th showdown of the Winston Cup season, Bruton Smith, is with us. Bruton, you're going to do the same thing at Charlotte that you at Atlanta that you did here at Charlotte, we understand.
Well, Ken, let's say not the same thing. It's going to be far better than what we did here.
Really? We kind of like this one.
Well, we like it too, don't we? But We have 52 condos here, and of course, initially we're building 58 in Atlanta.
Now, why would anyone ever want to own a condo at a racetrack?
Oh, it's a perfect thing to do. I mean, it's something that you just have to do. It's great. It's a great entertainment. It's a place that you can go for the weekend. There's so many things you can do with a beautiful condo at
Let's ask the
Speedway.
catfish. Let's ask the catfish guy. Now,
the reason he's asking that question, I remember y'all offered me one for $97,000 the first year they built them.
Yes, sir.
I said, who wants to live at a racetrack? I think they're $397 now.
Yep.
One of my better business moves.
Well, actually, you know, Bobby Hillen bought one. He paid $130,000. He sold his not too long ago for $360,000. So you should have bought one.
Don't rub it in, Bruton. I ain't got over it yet.
Good luck on November 17th. Looks like it's going to be a great showdown.
I think Fred Reinstein will buy a condo.
I think the executive producer probably give you.
He is absolutely, you know, he's anxious to have one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ken.
Thanks for coming by. Good to see you. They really are changing it. They've added thousands of seats down there, and they're going to do all these suites. It's going to be a heck of a show when they get to November. And I don't think you're going to realize what that old place looks like.
You know, when he says it's going to be better in Charlotte, that's hard for me to imagine. This place, I remember we used to come here, but there's Felix Sabates' place on top. That's the Amigo Dome up there on the top with the viewing area and all. And look here, you know, more suites going down in Charlotte condos. It's going to be unbelievable.
Now, you went up there the other day, and you were supposed to be there for like, what, 20 minutes to do a little feature. You came back. You left at 1. You came back at 6:30. I mean, what did you do up there for all that?
I laid back on the suite, just taking it kind of easy.
Hey, go number 3. The Atlanta Braves and that number 3, they've got it all together.
I know when we were coming in this morning, Bruton, you're saying better than Atlanta, but I remember we came in this morning and I couldn't get in the place where people out there with signs saying, I need tickets. Well, they better get them early because these places are selling out.
Yeah, they sure are. And what a great conclusion we're going to have to this campaign as we get down to the end here. 3 races left after today to decide it all in the Winston Cup Championship. If you get a chance to see NASCAR racing anywhere, you get a great show. The Grand National cars move on next week. They're going up to Loudon, New Hampshire. New Hampshire International Speedway, that brand new $21 million mile facility that Bob Baer put in. They're getting down, and then they move on to Rockingham as part of the weekend with the Winston Cup people, and then they conclude their championship series at Martinsville, Virginia. That was a great race yesterday in the Grand National ranks, and again, it was all taken down by one man at the end, Harry Gant. Felix Sabates did take our buddy Neil Bonnet on a little tour yesterday of his new Amigo Dome. Old Neil took a camera along. Let's take a gander.
Let me tell you, folks, I've been coming to Charlotte for a long time, and there's been a lot of changes. Right off that back straightaway is a big landfill. That used to be right over here in the middle of this infield. Big landfill area, they filled it up. Now it's all motorhomes, which used to be pickup trucks. You look over here, this front straightaway, big grandstand packed of the gills on race day, big office building, a lot of growth going on here. I'd like to introduce you to Felix Sabates. How you doing, Felix? Car owner for Kyle Petty, and we're right here in the latest edition of Charlotte Motor Speedway. How about showing us what we've got to tell us about it?
Well, this is what's called the first turn condominium. There are 12 of them. They were built for a total of approximately $6 million at Charlotte Motor Speedway. They finished them 2 days ago. I'd like to take you on a tour of it and show you what we've done in here.
I got to see this Amigo Dome here.
This is a little dome in here.
Let's see what the thing looks like.
Well, Neil, as you can see, this is the inside part of the observation deck. It's a completely enclosed glass room with a wet bar. It has your bathroom, a nice area for the ladies to get away from the hot weather and come inside to eat. And this is the upstairs part of the, and I'm going to take you down and show you the main part of the unit, which I think you'll be kind of impressed with.
I got to see the main part.
We've come a long way in racing.
I can tell that.
As you can see, Neil, when you come down the steps, you have a real nice gourmet kitchen in there, some black marble top coming down. We can feed 55 people out of this kitchen here because the place was designed to view 55 people from this floor down here. It's got 2 television sets, one direct to the racetrack. The other one, so you can watch the soap opera if you want on Saturdays and Sunday afternoon. Coming down this way is the main part of the unit, which has 2 bathrooms on this level, 1 bathroom upstairs. It has a very big living room. It has 55 feet of viewing area, and it's all mirror, so it gives you the effect of being, you know, kind of wide open. And he has one special feature. He comes in with a built-in race car driver, right?
I tell you what, Felix, thanks for the tour. And I tell you, folks, these drivers got just a little bit easier nowadays.
You sure do. Getting faster every year.
We're just back under green. We're at lap 141. That was some tour.
I stayed for about an hour to check it out.
You stayed an hour, my purple bunny. You didn't get back all afternoon. Here's number 30, Michael Waldrich's car, which is now 2 laps down, running in 15th position, giving us these pictures as right behind him comes Sterling Marlin. He and Marlin have been duking it out in the same lap for some time. Up in front, it's still Mark Martin, and now Earnhardt in second spot, but change that. All of a sudden, Jeff Bodine's car number 11 is showing some added light.
You know, it's not unusual to see that 6 car in front today, but looks like Alan Quickie might have a little something for him. He might have improved his car with those last chassis.
But they say he's a lap down. After all of these stops on pit road, we had 3 cars left in the lead lap. They were 6, 11, and 3. Martin, Bodine, and Earnhardt. Showing Harry Gant now in 4th position, a lap down. So they got scattered with these cautions and these long periods under green. Those first 3 early cautions and then none have resulted in a race where it's now a 3-car duel in the lead lap.
And Ken, also, they were we've got a car up in the wall in turn 2 now. Here.
Might be Stan Smith, the car out of Alabama that's just great. No, it's Kyle Petty's car that's slowing in the back straightaway.
No, it is Stan.
It is Stan Smith.
He scraped the wall real bad in turn 2. There's
no caution
out.
No caution out for Stan Smith in the car number 49.
I promise you, the right side doesn't look like the left side because he scraped that wall pretty good.
25th position and several laps down. Leader continues to be Martin, and the cars behind him are Kulwicki, a lap down, and Kyle Petty. That Kyle Petty car, number 42, is being shown just in 10th place, just in 10th.
You know, Alan Quickie might be a lap down, but he's certainly working hard to get that lap back. He's really putting the heat on Mark Martin. If he can get a few back, he'll be in good shape.
Bill Elliott's car was on pit road for some time and has come back on the course, but he is backing up at this point. He's off his feet. He has fallen well back from those leaders. It looks like he's just making time.
How many times have we seen that fair shot there, but he was the only guy in view, but he was leading. He's just having a lot of trouble today.
The lead changes thus far, just 3 among 3 drivers. That's some different than the record of 47 back in 1974. Here's Kulwicki working to get that lap back from car number 6, Mark Martin. It's still a poor show, but those big numbers up in front have dwindled dramatically.
Right now, it's necessary for Kulwicki to overuse his race car. The question is, does Mark Martin use his to that extent to keep him a lap down? Kulwicki's got a lot on the line. Mark has got a good race car. We'll have to see if he wants to try to hold him off that bad.
Well, it's important to realize that Alan Kulwicki is not a lap down because he was slow. Alan Kulwicki is a lap down because of pitting sequence. Realize that he pitted just before that caution flag. That was the wrong time to do it. That's how he lost the lap.
Here's Kulwicki trying again to get that lap back. He is hustling. He's not giving up. As he goes down into turn 3 and tries to move back around Mark Martin. 147 laps are now complete. It's down on the bottom of the racetrack. And that 7 works inside, outside. That's a working race car.
You know, Alan has been in position to win this race a couple of times, and he's had problems at the end. He might have been going to take care of that car all day long, and now he's having to use more than he wants to. He's got a lot of race cars.
You know, Neil, what you talked about earlier, about this 42-car field and how it can change the points. Think what it's just done to Ernie Irvin. With him out of this race, Davey Allison, who was just behind him by some 21 points going into this race, big break for Allison, maybe a big break for Gant before the day is over.
Big turnaround in a place like this.
Gant is in 5th in the points as they come into the day, and as matters now stand on the racetrack, 1 lap down, running in 4th is Davey Allison with Ricky Rudd in 5th, Harry Gant in 6th, Terry Labonte is in 7th, Dave Marcus is in 8th, and Brett Bodine in 9th. They are 1 lap back of those 3 leaders. Then in 10th, 2 laps down, they're still reporting for Winston.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that really scrambled that also. Just as they had that caution, a lot of the normal pit stops had just happened a few laps prior to that, so it really scrambled things around.
The Hamlin in-car camera from Davey Allison's vantage, looking back, and guess who he's looking at? As they scoot down into the corner, Harry Gant is closing up on him, and that is a battle for position. That is for 4th spot, and look at Harry come. That Oldsmobile of Harry Gant, it is flying. There's the interval. Marcus stays first, Bodine second, Earnhardt third, and there's a big interval among those 3 guys up in front. But Allison and Gant are having at it a lap back. Now back out on the track has come car number 2. Remember Rusty Wallace? He's got to be 40, 50 laps down this thing.
Yeah, whatever the problem was with the oil, they got it back out. And boy, the 6 car is running hard. He had the car really a little loose off the corner, but Mark Martin likes a car like that. He's capable of running the car right on the edge, and he's getting a lot out of that thing right now. I think he's determined to keep Kwiatkowski down, because with this kind of strength, as long as there is, Kwiatkowski could be a factor before the day's over.
152 laps, 228 miles complete this time by. There have been 4 cautions to date in the event. The retirees from this race, well, after a period of 4 cautions, it adds up to 6 cars have gone by the wayside thus far in the race. 6 are down from 42 that started.
Here we are with Ricky Rudd's car. Let's go into pits with Randy Pemberton. He's talking with Waddell Wilson. Let's see what's going on with this bunch.
Waddell, you're on the leaderboard, but you're a lap down. What does this do for today's chances, and let alone the Winston Cup Championship's chances?
Well, you know, the Fords is really running good today, and it hurt us when we ended up, you know, getting lapped. You know, it's still a long way to go, but, you know, anytime you get a lap down and the cars up front trying to fast car, it's awful hard to make it up.
That's Waddell Wilson.
Peter Beck. We're looking at the 6th place car, number 5, Ricky Rudd, running a lap down. Davey Allison is leading that lap with the 4th position. Then comes Gant, then Rudd. 3 people in the lead lap are Mark Martin, Jeff Bodine, Dale Earnhardt. And they are separated around this racetrack by enough of a margin, so there is a breather for them. Martin has the field covered as he goes by. It's about 50 car lengths back to 2nd spot. Jeff Bodine will try to show it to you in a moment. And well back of that crowd is Earnhardt. And sandwiched in between the Martin car running in 1st and Earnhardt in 3rd is that dandy scrap a little further back that features Davey Allison, and Ricky Rudd.
Davey got the shuffle on the pit stops also. He was right in contention. He was having a little trouble, and got caught the wrong time in the wrong place and moved back.
Well, Neil, there's a lot of determination out of Kwiatkowski as they go to turn number 1, working the 156th lap. Down in turn 4, he put the nose of that thing right down on that white line as he tried to move beneath Mark Martin. It wasn't there to do.
He had the nose up beside the rear tire and just couldn't pull it off.
Let's go back to the 2nd place car. Here you see it. There's the interval back to Jeff Bodine. So it's still Ford 1st and 2nd with Chevrolet running in 3rd. Now we're getting a report. Now we're hearing that Kwiatkowski car, number 7, is being shown as 2 laps down, not 1. NASCAR is giving us the word that that's a 2-lap indicator down from that leader.
Again, that's just that much more reason for him to try to get one back. It's feasible to get a lap back now and get another one back. He's not giving up on this deal.
So if that is the case, then he'd be back in 9th or 10th spot, not up there in that 4th, 5th, and 6th place skirmish. Here is the car number 33, Harry Gant, trying to take one back from Davey Allison for 4th position. This is the fight for 4th. Remember that the 11 car is running a lap in front, the 28 and the 33.
Ken, we were joking earlier about Harry Gant. Maybe he needs a little bitty something on that car to break or snap. Yesterday, he was in the same shape. He was off the pace. They broke a trailing arm bushing. All of a sudden, Harry just takes off and drives away, wins the race. Seems like anytime he has a little adversity, he comes alive, and the car just takes off. And hopefully he doesn't have any trouble, but he's certainly getting the thing working now.
Here he is finding new life as he gets down to the inside and is pulling by Davey Allison to take over in 4th. He's still got a lap to make up. That's going to be tough. 158 are complete, working toward the midway mark.
You know, I noticed looking out of Davey's windshield right there, a big vibration, the dash vibrating on the car. We didn't see that earlier, and I doubt seriously his camera. Kwiatkowski just got one lap back up front. See the big vibration right here? That wasn't there before. Davey's got a tire, a rear end, or some kind of motor trouble. See the mirror in the car vibrating real bad? That car is not performing like it did earlier.
He's performing all right. Look at him gather some speed back up and go back after Harry Gant at number 33 down in the 1st and 2nd turn area. Out into the backstretch. Bodine stays 2nd. Mark Martin stays up in front. $791,000 at stake here today in this 334-lap, 500-mile event.
You know, while we're looking right here at Harry Gant racing with Bodine, and he's trying to work his way back up there because it is possible to get one of these laps back, because just out of this frame here, we had Kowicki go ahead and pass Mark Martin. So Gant's trying to get up there and get it back also.
Car number 7 in the back straightaway. You see him in that collection of automobiles. He's moved around and taken a lap back from car number 6. Mark Martin, the leader of the race. Then comes the Kyle Petty car. He is 2 laps down, running in 10th. You see, there's the leader, number 6. You see how far back Harry Gant is from catching that car number 6 and getting back in that lead lap. It's a ways.
Yeah, and whenever Kowicki went by a while ago, Mark Martin, Kyle Petty almost made the same pass. So I'm not so sure Mark didn't back off and give him a little bit of room. Here's Gant. He did get on around Bodine. He's got a way to go to get that lap back.
Well, Harry Gant, being the gentleman that he is, Harry Gant has found many ways to avoid taking credit. Engine, team, the way the car handled, luck for his recent success. But with all the wins he's had this month, he may be running out of dodges.
He's going to admit, we'll have to admit one day that
Leo has in store for us this time. I'm not going to be able to guess or predict what it might be. So Leo's going to have to tell you whatever it is he's doing. I've made a lot of excuses for him in the last few races, saying it's this and that and other, so he's got to start telling you.
So it's going to be Leo this time. Everybody there gets the credit except Harry. It's always the car, it's always the motor, it's always somebody. It's never Harry Gant that gets credit for the wins. If you'd have seen him drive here yesterday, it was Harry Gant.
I told you, he said he's just a good carpenter and average race car driver. That was out of his own mouth, but he's telling Bibbs he's a heck of a race car driver.
Trying to close down on the leader and get a lap back is Gant. Remember, he is 4th, a lap down. Leader is Martin, 2nd is Bodine, 3rd is Earnhardt. And then the rest of the field is 1 lap down at least. With Gant 4th, Davey Allison 5th, Ricky Rudd 6th, Terry Labonte 7th. Bodine is in 8th. Alan Kowicki is in 9th. And 2 laps down is Kyle Petty in the 10th spot. There's the leader, Mark Martin, in the number 6 car. He has dominated since the outset. Set himself a new record qualifying for this race. And deliberately is pacing himself. He's willing to let one go by him, but will he let Gant catch him?
Fram presents The Race Within a Race. For 8 straight years, Chevrolet's won the coveted Manufacturers' Championship trophy. Their main competitor, Ford. It's no different this year, with the Chevy drivers holding a slight edge over the Thunderbird contingent. The point system awards 9 points to the highest finishing make of car in each race. So even though Dale Earnhardt's leading the Winston Cup drivers standings, he's behind Ernie Irvan, tied with Ken Schrader in highest finishes. Chevrolet's received a big boost in their attempt to make it 9 in a row from a man who drives an Oldsmobile. Harry Gant, who drove a Chevy for many years before switching to Olds in 1989, has shut the Fords out in 5 races. If Chevrolet can hold off Ford with 3 races to go after today, Harry Gant should get part of that trophy.
We've just gone past halfway. We're halfway in the Mello Yello 500. $10,000 richer, Mark Martin. And at the moment, Mark Martin seems to be backing up a little in car number 6. The lap was taken back by Kyle Petty. But here's the story. Cars number 11 and 3 are getting together in a battle for 2nd place. This at lap 171. Here you see number 11, Jeff Bodine, and number 3, Earnhardt. They settle down. Now further back in this skirmish, 33 and the 28 still having at it. And from Davey Allison's viewpoint, looking out the back of his car, he's running in 5th. Here come those 2 challengers for the 2nd position in the race. Looking from Davey Allison's car, using his camera as a platform to watch this battle developing between number 11, Jeff Bodine's Ford, and Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet.
That's a good view right there. It was awful nice when I was driving. I was like looking at that mirror and seeing behind you. But every now and then you sort of saw a certain color coming, and it really got your attention.
That black color right now has everybody's attention. Here's Earnhardt zeroing in Ricky Rudd's car number 5 in this point battle. He is back in 6th spot, so he's still in there. There hasn't been a big break made by either Earnhardt or Rudd thus far today. But if they break down with the number of cars still running, it could be over as far as Ricky Rudd's concerned.
Ken, let me tell you what, Ricky Rudd and them have probably improved on that car more than anyone in the race. They were way back in the pack, and now they're right up there. Their car is running exceptional. They've improved on it, but they just can't touch the leaders.
And remember that here in 6, as we look at this carefully, this battle for 2nd place. Here is Bodine in the Ford, and there's the Chevrolet of Earnhardt moving in. What can Bodine do out here now? He's going just about as strong as that car can go.
And this is 2 guys that have had trouble in the past. You know, they've had problems at this particular racetrack, and I'm sure they're going to. One of them's going to go as hard as he can go, and the other's going to try to prevent anything from happening. And it could be a shootout early in the race between these 2.
Well, everybody talks about Harry Gant's luck. Actually, he's making up for a lot of bad luck over a lot of years at a lot of racetracks, as far as I'm concerned. Those 7 out of 8, racing owes him that. Nothing is ever owed, but really, he's had so much misfortune, come so close and then missed, that when he gets on a win scheme like this, you feel good about it. The number 3 car out here that's being driven today by Dale Earnhardt. Now, that's a guy who's had terrible luck. And remember, this was the race where his wheels fell off last year, down here in turn 1. Missed the lug nut, the whole thing came down on him, and it looked like the championship was over another time.
This crew right here usually goes to every track with a lot of confidence. When they walk into Charlotte, they almost throw their hands up in the air. They know they got to bring the best stuff they got. They throw the best shot they got after it, but they just can't seem to be consistent here. And that's what they're trying to do.
Closing in another time is Earnhardt, number 3, winner at North Wilkesboro on a gimme last week. I mean, Harry Gant looked so good. 9 laps to go, all the way to the finish, and the brakes gave out, and still Harry Gant came home in 2nd spot. That was an incredible performance.
It was, and that guy right there in that black car will be the first one to tell you I couldn't beat him. Gant could be sitting on a string nobody's heard of right now. Dale told me, he said I couldn't handle him. He had problems on the way we won the race. So he's not misled. They didn't beat him last week. They just had to fall in their lap. And he was in a position to take advantage of it, but Harry had that problem.
Falls back to 5 car lengths and picks it back up to 3 on each lap. That's the difference on the ends of the racetrack and how this Ford and Chevy work.
Well, they're both working good. You know, we're watching them both run around right around the white line on the bottom of the racetrack. They're both getting up off the corner good. It's hard to outdo a guy. There's Earnhardt with the left wheel under the line down on the flat part of the racetrack, and it seems like Bodine's car is capable of doing that too. They're evenly matched, and it's going to be hard for either one to just muscle the other around.
Stabilized for the moment with Mark Martin leading, Bodine 2nd, Earnhardt 3rd at lap 178. Let's go to Mike Joy standing by with a Goodyear Eagle update.
Ken, by the halfway point in this race, Mark Martin had only given the lead up twice. That's when he pitted. Average speed way off the record due to 4 caution flags for 21 laps. 7 cars out of the race as of halfway. There they are, starting with Dorsey Schrader, who ran just 1 lap. Mike Skinner, that fiery crash, he's okay. Ballou, Schrader, Kerry Teague. Ernie Irvan, they're put a new rear end in that car. He may get back into this race.
Ernie Irvan's getting in right now, Mike. He's just coming out.
Thanks, Ken.
Just coming on.
Hut Strickland is also out. He coasted into the garage area while racing in 5th place. There's Mark Martin. He led the first 65 laps. When he pitted for fuel under green, Jeff Bodine led a few circuits. Dale Earnhardt until he pitted because he was off sequence. And since then, it's been all Mark Martin.
It's been all Mark Martin from the moment this thing started. Now here is the number 4. That looks like a race car. That looks like a real race car. Now watch what happens to the real race car.
When he comes around the other side of the racetrack, would like to show you a picture. If you'll notice, that says number 4 on the roof, and it also says number 4 on the driver's door. But see if you can tell me what number this is we're fixing to see on the other side of the race car. They had to go out with metal on it. It looks to me like he's either running upside down or the guy put the door on wrong.
He wasn't worried about the cosmetics, just wanted to get a door on.
This could be the first open wheel race they've had at Charlotte in a long time.
Well, Ernie's been upside down before.
Well, this way, either way, he's got his number. He's getting good sponsorship exposure.
He's being shown as 50 laps down, and car number 4 is Ernie Irvan wheels back out here, being shown in 36th position, but he's still trucking, and for very good reason. That point battle. Remember, in the Winston Cup points, he came in here 3rd. He had a 21 point, which is a pretty thin cushion between himself and Davey Allison, and Harry Gant was also down his neck. remember, when they get to the season, they not only give out $1 million to the Winston Cup winner. Oh, look at this. Here comes Earnhardt, ready to go after Bodine. That's for the big money. Dale Earnhardt looking for that $1 million bonus at the end of the year, and he runs with Jeff Bodine wide open out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. It's $330,000 for second in the point battle at the end of the year, and third spot's $225,000. Earnhardt's interested in only one thing. Same thing he was interested in last year, that $1 million check.
I tell you what, that's a lot of money on the line. But again, we touched on it at the top of the show. You get to think about winning, you can fall back in points.
Battle for fourth begins to heat up. There's Davey Allison's Ford, and there's that Oldsmobile. Number 33, Harry Gant, right there in 5th spot. They are a lap down. Looking from Davey Allison's Haviland in-car camera back at the man who's chasing him at the moment, Harry Gant. Don't think you want Harry the Hammer in your back window too long.
I tell you, he's having a ball. You know, it's so refreshing to see somebody that gets along with all the drivers, and boy, he's having a heck of a time up right now. There's Davey. He's got to look at that little car coming nipping at him back here.
But the issue is, unless Mark Martin gets into a real problem here, getting around him to get that lap back, that looks to be the Great Wall of China in this race.
The car of Harry Gant's was built up at Leo Jackson's shop in Asheville, a place Harry says he's only visited about 3 times since he started driving for Leo. But it's a unique design. It's what they call a front steer, rear steer car. They took a standard Banjo Matthews rear steer chassis, those rear steer A-arms and everything, and just moved the steering box up ahead of the center line of the axle. So it steers from the front, but it's all rear steer components. I'm still a little confused, but I know one thing. It works.
Mike Joy, if you think you're confused, you should talk to the competition. They haven't figured it out yet.
After they had won at Dover, Harry Gant said very quietly to Andy Petrie in Victory Lane, here's what I want you to do with the race car. I just want you to put it back in the truck. Don't wash it. Don't touch it. Just take it to the next race and have it ready for me when I show up.
You know, something we might need to touch on again. Every week we hear Harry Gant say, same car, same motor.
Yep.
It's the same motor, but I promise you, it's got new valve, new pistons. They go back and refreshing these motors. Leo Jackson can make a lot of horsepower, and he uses good parts in the thing, and it stays together and runs well.
Saw the 55 car, Ted Musgrave, one of those outstanding rookie runners, who's currently 18th in the race. Getting overwhelmed out there by Harry Gant as he continues to roll. We're just past halfway. 187 laps have now been completed. 280.5 miles are down at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the running of the Mello Yello 500. At Charlotte, North Carolina, the Winston Cup battle for 1991 could well be decided if Earnhardt can continue to dominate. And remember, there's a $152,000 bonus. At every race, there's a skills game, a rollover of $7,600 created by the Unocal people if you win the pole and then go out and win the race.
Ken, right here we're with Alan Kowicki. This guy has got the fastest race car on the track. Since he's passed Mark Martin, he's put a complete straightaway on Mark Martin and driving away. I'm telling you, this guy's got the fastest race car, even though he's got 1 lap back and he's got 1 more to go. But look at the distance back to Mark Martin. Almost a complete straightaway. If it keeps going green and gets some cautions, he'll be a threat before the day's over.
And before too long, we're going to be back on pit road. Now they're showing that Kowicki car has indeed collected the 6. 7 went by and 42 Kyle Petty went by as Mark Martin seemed willing to back off a little. And so Kowicki got his lap back. That's one of the 2 laps he's down. Alan Kowicki being shown in the 8th position and trying to close in on Terry Labonte. Harry Gant still working Davey Allison for 4th, a lap down, but Alan Kowicki becomes a real factor in this race once again.
Brought to you by Fram Oil Filters. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Craftsman, a line of over 1,600 hand tools made in America, guaranteed for life.
194 laps now down, 291 miles complete at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Mello Yello 500. Neil Bond and I'm Ken Squire. Working down along the track today is Randy Pemberton And Mike Joy is over in the pit center. Dick Berggren's also on pit road, keeping you up to date on what's going on in this $700,000 contest, which has been dominated by Mark Martin since the outset in his car number 6. He said a little earlier this week, he said, as far as winning this race, nothing can do that but fate. We're running good enough to win this race, but we won't win unless it's our turn. Doesn't sound like optimism.
I think his cautious hope. He's hoping things go right, but he doesn't want to stick his foot out and make too bold a statement right now. But it looks like they're able to do anything they said they could do early in the week.
12th place car, Mike Waldrop on pit road. Right side rubber going on the Pennzoil, car number 30. And Kyle Petty is also taking this opportunity to pit car number 42. He is running in 9th. The car of Waldrop is 2 laps down. Kyle Petty is running 1 lap down in the race. 3 cars remain in the lead. That lead lap, Mark Martin, Earnhardt, and Bodine. Going all the way around on car number 42. Now number 7, Kowicki, is coming in.
Here we are in Kowicki's speed. Let's see what Dick Berggren can cover the stop for us.
Well, this is indeed the fastest car on the racetrack. Just before this race today, Paul Andrews said they'd found some extra in the engine, some extra horsepower. It sure looks it. Kowicki has been running very, very strong today. These are regularly scheduled pit stops. The last guy to take a regularly scheduled pit stop is going to be Earnhardt, because at the tail end of that long caution, he filled up on fuel. Earnhardt's got yet another advantage in this race today. Kowicki, right side tires on, left side going on too. Decent stop, not great. 30.24 seconds slower than they had hoped for.
Yeah, it looked like the jack man had a little bit of trouble coming around off the outside, around the inside of the car, and it cost him just a little bit of time.
Morgan Shepherd has come in. Joe Ruttman is on pit road. Dave Marcus is in. Rusty Wallace, who's many laps down, is also elected to take fuel now.
Again, this is something that kind of scares you. Here's Mark Martin leading the race. Sometimes you say, well, when he's leading the race and running that hard, maybe he doesn't get that good of mileage. But he said he's one of the guys staying out longer than anyone else. There's Davey Allison coming down pit road now.
Davey Allison, who had been running in 4th, a lap down to the leaders, pulls into the pits, and let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, they haven't been satisfied with the way this car is handled all day, Ken. And just before this pit stop, they were talking back and forth on the radio about taking a rubber out of the rear spring to try to make it handle better. Apparently, they do not yet have it back to that flawless performance we saw here with this car in the spring. He's taking the right side tires, left side tires ready to go. And there's Davey Allison. Now that's a nice stop. 20.96.
Davey Allison coming back out, as well as Rick Mast in car number 1. Got a winner up in Nashville. We'll give you an update on that in a moment. And now here's car number 3, Earnhardt in, and Dick Berggren once again.
And they're working on the rights. This is for sure going to be a 4 tire change. I'm a little surprised to see him in this early, given that they had that fuel advantage. But they've decided to bring her on in anyway. Earnhardt, right side's on. He just calmly sits behind the wheel, drinking a drink, throws it at our cameraman, gets a big smile out of the whole thing. He has fun. It's nice to see a guy have fun racing.
Well, he's completed 300 miles, even yesterday, with all that trouble that he had. And he had some trouble out here in that race. And the 28 car has a stop and go. Allison apparently got a little too quick on pit road. They're going to bring him in on a stop and go onto green. So that is really going to clear the deal for Bobby Allison, rather for Davey Allison out here today.
Dick Berggren, if you're in the pits, when Davey comes in for this stop and go, I'd step back a notch. Earnhardt missed you with that cup, but they might get you with this next deal.
Here's Davey Allison, who has just made that pit stop and been told he must come back in. And as he comes in, he gets trapped for the moment on the 21 car, and he better not be too quick coming down, or he'll get nailed again.
They won't hesitate to make you do it 2 times, but boy, that's costly to do that. The call on like that, it's such a tough call to make on someone. Stop and go, they might as well stick a little bit of fuel in it while they're at it. But that's a costly move.
Very costly for the defending champion of this race, Davey Allison, as he heads back out onto the 1.5 miles. 300 miles complete, and that puts him a lap down. Another lap down. That'll be a total of 2. Here you see the 21 car, which had for the moment been up to 5th. The Jarrett car is coming back out. The Wood Brothers machine, which dominated racing at Charlotte for so long. And number 11, the 2nd place car, is pulling into the pits at this moment. That is Bodine, 2nd place man. just pulled in.
And here comes the leader, and Mark Martin's coming up the end of pit road. And he's the last guy in and leading the race. That's scary. He's that fast and that good on mileage, too.
Randy Pemberton standing by as car number 6 pulls down to make this stop. Mark Martin has dominated from the outset. Let's go down to the pits.
Well, we talked about Mark Martin dropping back a little bit. That was not by design. He has complained that the car was a little bit tight. So they're going to change 4 tires on the Folgers Ford and put in 2 rounds of wedge. He just says he can't get through the corners. It's pushing up in the turns. So left side tires are on. Pretty good pit stop so far, but at 21.5 seconds. That's an excellent pit stop for Mark Martin.
Randy, that looked like the same amount of bite. They just took it back out. That looks like almost what they put in on the first stop. They were probably best when the race started, and they're going back to that now.
Now here you see Harry Gant making his stop. Green flag stop. This is coming at lap 2:04. We just passed the 300-mile mark in the Mello Yello 500. Gant is away. Martin, for the moment, on pit road and back out as he comes to speed. He has himself still the lead with Bodine second, and Gant is being shown in third, a lap down. Getting this one sorted out, but they are showing car number 11. Now they're showing number 6 up on top. Coming to the line, here is car number 6, Mark Martin, under number 3, Earnhardt, to keep him a lap back.
Yes, no, this is deal. They just came out of the pits, and
so they're going for position.
This is for position right here with 11 up front. And let me tell you that these two right here, it's going to be tough to get the lead right here.
Not too tough for Earnhardt in the 3. He's there this time. This is for, we're being told this is for the lead between the 3 and the 6, Earnhardt and Martin. They come around at lap 2:06.
Maybe that's why he was smiling. They might have improved on the car more than we thought, but boy, Mark has been so strong all day long. What seems to be Mark's strong suit is after they run a lot of laps, his car really settles in. And right now, Dale's on new tires, Mark's on new tires. We'll have to wait about 15 laps to see who's got the best race car.
Bodine is in third. They had him up on the board everywhere as the leader. Not true. It's 3 and 6 battling for the lead, and then Bodine, and those are the 3 cars in the lead lap. Earnhardt in first, Mark Martin in second, and Jeff Bodine in third. The Rudd now comes to 4th after this caution period, or rather after this pit stop period under green. Ricky Rudd 4th, Davey Allison 5th, Labonte 6th, Kawicki 7th, Kyle Petty in 8th. 2 laps back. 9th position, Harry Gant. He's dropped another.
Yeah, he's not moving like we thought he might.
So the leader, here it is. Chevrolet goes out in front for the first time today.
Did we say these Fords run up off the corner? This might be a good way to see the difference in the race cars. The Ford seems to really make a strong run up off of the corner. You know, 3 or 4 there. Dale had some room on him, and Mark really closed it back up. Here's Dale, stretches a little bit. And watch these Fords. These Fords really make a power stroke right up off of this corner.
Look at
there he goes, crawling on back up on him. And usually when you go in the corner, there's Dale putting a little bit of distance on him. Where these Fords really, watch us off the 4th turn. That's where they seem to be strong. See if he can close that distance. He shuts it right up on him. So he's having to work awful hard in the corner to be able to hold him off down the straightaway. Did I say hold him off? These things are running right now.
Kyle gives that side groove up, and as he does, that forces Earnhardt high, and here comes number 6, Martin, plowing right down to the bottom of the racetrack and moving through.
Ken, that's a good feeling in a race car when you mash that throttle down and it nails you in the seat like that and makes that strong run up. And here's Earnhardt doing what he's famous for. You pass him, whenever you pass Earnhardt, the fastest lap you ever run in your life better be the next one, because he'll jump right back under you and try to go back by.
Stan Smith in there, and he had to use the brake a little right in the middle of that 24-degree bank.
Yeah. People have drivers, a lot of times you'll pass somebody and say, man, I got by him, and you'll kind of ease up a little bit. Well, Dale's tendency is the minute you pass him, he's going to throw that thing right back under you. You better be ready.
210 laps complete, 315 miles. That's coming up at the start-finish line this time, and for the moment, Martin is back in command.
Ken, the big winner on that round of pit stops. Ricky Rudd picked up 2 positions on green flag pit stops. Bobby Hamilton picked up about 4 a little further in the back. But the big loser was Harry Gant. Gant went into the pits. When that round started, he was running in 5th place, and he came out in 9th. There's a look at Gant, still circulating and still just that same number of laps down, just 2 to the leader, but he lost 4 spots on pit road.
Got one car running very slowly in the bottom of turn number 3, and it looks like it is. It is the leader, Mark Martin. Something is amiss on car number 6. Just coming out of turn number 2, it began to slack off. Going into turn number 3, it got worse, and Mark Martin is easing down onto pit road, and Randy Penburn is standing by in the Jack Roush pits for the Folgers Ford.
I don't think he's going to get to interview him. I think this car is headed for the garage. They said that car's had bad luck all along. I believe I'd stick it back up on them jack stands or either turn her into a show car. Because that car has been in position to win every race it's in, and they have had a problem with it.
His last win was North Wilkesboro a year ago, and for Mark Martin, the black cloud does not live. At lap 2:11, Martin is back in the garage, and it's over. And guess who's leading?
Did you say black cloud? You got the right color there. It says.
Car number 3, Earnhardt, and the Chevrolet is in front. Godine's Ford is in second. Only 2 cars remain in the lead lap. Strange race today.
You know, there was a guy like Mark Martin that just killed everybody, put him a lap down. Now he's out of it. Everybody else got a chance to come back.
2:13 now complete. Ron Hall making that award to one of the great champions of all time, Richard Petty. Let's go down to Dick Burke.
Well, no work going on this car. Did it blow up, Mark?
We broke it.
What happened? Did you get any indication at all, or did it just let go?
He's broke.
Obviously very disappointed, Mark Martin. There's not much you can really say in a situation like this. Winning, leading the race for so long, and there he is. It's all over for the day.
It's all over. We'll have to get him next time.
And that's the attitude of a real race driver. Get him next week.
Boy, Ken, I tell you what, that's a tough feeling. And people don't think Mark Martin's cutting you short. That's hard to bite your tongue and just stand there and say, well, get him next week. He had him this week, and you want to cash in.
Tough break for Mark Martin. Had it all going from the very beginning of this race. You see Rick Mast in the number 1. Had a fairly good run today, but he's going to lap down at the moment to car number 5, Ricky Rudd, who is being shown in 3rd place. 1 lap down to Earnhardt and Bodine running 1st and 2nd.
We got 2 cars in the lead lap. That's hard to believe, the strength of the field. Mark Martin was the rabbit, but the rabbit just died, and now everybody else might have a chance.
That Rick Mast car is running 19th, car number 1, Virginia driver. Here's Earnhardt in the number 3, now setting the pace. And he just waits on people, and we'll get a relationship back to the 2nd place car as he puts a lap on Jeff Purvis. Here you see the number 3. Keep your eye out for Jeff Bodine in the Junior Johnson Ford.
Just about a straightaway, Ken. He's got about a straightaway.
Chad Little just in front of him there. Let's go down to Mike Joy at the SDP Pit Center.
Ken, we're just in from Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Ari Leyendyke has won the CART PPG IndyCar World Series race there. It did not decide the point title. Michael Andretti will lead Bobby Rahal 212 to 200 going into the season's final event. Joining me, guest of Felix Sabates today, Jerry Glanville, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Just interested spectator, or are you doing a little car shopping?
Well, really, we got a bye week. This week we're not playing. Next week we got the 49ers. So when you get 1 week off a year, you go racing, and you come watch the big boys do it.
Joe Gibbs with the Redskins going to have a Winston Cup team next year, and it's rumored you may have a race car.
Well, we may have one. We're looking for a ride. We're looking for really shopping around a little bit. Got to talk to a lot of real nice people. Felix has been a great friend and sort of directed me and put me with the right people.
Well, one that came out of the rumor mill was you owning a Winston Cup car, but the other one, the neat one, is having you driving some Busch Grand National races.
That's really what we want to do. We met with Les Richter and all the NASCAR officials, and what we have to do is start on the smart, on the short track, start in Richmond, Virginia with the Busch car, and we hope that we get to drive. I like to drive. I'd rather drive than own.
Sounds like a lot of fun. We'll look for you out there.
Okay, it's going to be fun. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah?
Now that's going to be one for you. You get Joe Gibbs out there from the Redskins and Glanville out of Atlanta, and I tell you, it's going to be some season in 1992. Les Richter, the coach, he's going to have his hands full.
Well, I'm telling you what, Ken, he's serious about driving one of those cars, and he's had a lot of experience in drag race cars, and he's got the ability to get in one of these cars, and he's wanting to play.
Wait a minute. Now, you know, Kenny Bernstein, who's probably one of the best, he had a lot of experience in drag cars. Remember, he went down to Daytona, he gave it a try and said, "Thank you very much, I'll go find me a driver."
Well, let me tell you, I also went to Pomona and watched Kenny Bernstein drive, and I said, hey, forget it. I don't want to climb in one of those rocket ships of yours either, but it's just what you're used to. And Jerry might be the guy that jumps on him in one of those Busch cars. We'll just have to see what happens.
Well, here's Earnhardt continuing to lead at 226 laps complete. 226 down out of the 334 to be run today. 2 cars remain in the lead lap. It's this man, Dale Earnhardt, who just keeps grinding out those points.
And here's a unique situation happened. You know, Dale and them had to keep working on their race car because of Mark Martin. They might have been content early, but they had to get the car so good to chase somebody like Mark Martin. Now Mark's fell by the wayside, and he's got a pretty dominant car. So they've worked hard, and it looks like they got things under control right now.
For Dale Earnhardt, the question is, hey, you got this championship in the bag. The car runs well here today.
Well, it's not history yet. There's 3 races left with quite a few cars that's going to be starting each one, and you know, you can't have any bad luck. If you have bad luck and go down to the wire, you know, with a 100-point spread at the last race, you still could lose. So, you know, we're not going to count any of them out. We're not going to say we got it won if we win the race tomorrow and Ricky finishes last. We're still going to be racing right to the end, because anything can happen to us too. So we're going to try to keep a positive attitude about it and go straight forward.
Straightforward. The week off, then Rockingham, then out to Phoenix, then that grand finale second week in November down in Atlanta. That's the Winston Cup schedule to conclude the 1991 season. And the man that has won 7 championships, Richard Petty, getting a little bit of a challenge at this point in the career of Dale Earnhardt, looking for his 5th title. There's the Mello Yello 500 record on Dale Earnhardt. The winner here in 80 and 86 is rocketing around here, looking like he's going to bring it home a 3rd time. It's either real good or just plain bad here for Dale Earnhardt. There's no in between.
Well, that's what happens when you run a car at the level Dale does. He really abuses the car, and Richard Childress told me, he said, my job is to get it where it's bulletproof. And somebody like Dale can tear up something bulletproof as hard as he runs them, so they have to work all the time on that.
Here's Harry Gant trying to get a lap back. Remember, he's 1 lap down to car number 11, but he's trying to gather one back and go find Earnhardt out here and get himself back up in the top of this race. As matters stand, Earnhardt is 1st, Bodine is 2nd, Harry Gant is 3rd, a lap down. Right behind Gant is Ricky Rudd 4th, Davey Allison 5th. Remember, there was that stop and go penalty. Davey Allison, and in 6th is Alan Kowicki. 2 laps down. In 7th spot is Kyle Petty. 8th is Terry Labonte, and 9th is Bobby Hamilton, with 10th Morgan Shepherd, 11th Brett Bodine, 12th Michael Waltrip, 13th Dale Jarrett, 14th Sterling Marlin, and 3 laps out of it, Chad Little at the present time is running 15th with Dave Marcus behind him.
We've been seeing these guys just kind of grind away at it. There's very few people content with their race car, but we've had so many long green runs. There's not a chance to work on. They said they would have liked to have taken a rubber out of one of the springs on a guy's car a while ago. You can't do it on the green, because instead of having a 30-second stop, it's a minute stop. So if we can get a caution here, maybe some of these other guys can get their cars where they can get in contention.
It's got to be real frustrating for a guy like Harry Gant to be a lap down to those 2 leaders and not be able to get the handcuffs off.
You talk about frustrating. Well, look at Davey Allison. He brought what we've heard 007, which is the name for that car. That car has never been beat at this racetrack. And then they're off the pace and come back with the same stuff. And, they're sitting there with a car that can win anything they had here, and they're off a little bit today. And that's got to be frustrating.
Here he is, currently in the 5th position, Davey Allison. He wants to go find Ricky Rudd. And he's closing in on him. He may get a shot at him in the next 10 or 15 laps.
He'd probably like to go find the guy that's got the radar gun on pit road also, but they never tell you where that thing's at.
Look at Davey closing in on Ricky Rudd. That's for 4th spot.
Big Rick.
And we've got trouble. We've got trouble in turn number 3 and 4. Trying to get through it. Ricky Rudd is spinning. We have 2 cars badly crashed, perhaps a 3rd. Let's see if he can get it started. It looks like the 24 car was one of those. 5 cars in all involved. And the Jimmy Hensley car is able to start and come around. This happens at lap 233 as they come back to the flag with car number 3, there's the 10 car, Derek Cope, in bad trouble. Car number 3, Earnhardt dodging down to the inside. And the 5 car of Ricky Rudd is in big trouble. Ricky Rudd is going right back to the garage area, and you'll see why. Tail end of this car is hurt.
Well, I tell you, that's the fuel cell area, and it's almost on the ground, man. We got a shot of it going down pit road. They're going to have some work ahead of them to get that car back in.
Let's take a look at what happened up there. Here is car number 5 coming around, and Justin, you can see Brett Bodine applying the brakes, trying to get Woad, and his number 5 was able to get it under control. He was hit from the rear by Derek Cope.
Ken, the wreck was in front of that. There was a couple of cars up in the wall ahead of that, and we got another shot. Maybe we pick it up. Here's this
Dave
is
Marcus.
Dave Marcus. He's already been into the wall, but see the debris in front of him. There's other cars. There's the 15. Is that Morgan Shepherd up there? It looked like Morgan Shepherd. He got into the wall in front of Dave Marcus. So this other wrecks were just people standing on the brakes trying to stay out of trouble.
Dave Marcus's car getting collected just at the end, sideways by the number 24, Jimmy Hensley. And here comes the one that's unscathed, number 3, Earnhardt, into the pits. Pits are now open.
Here's the key about it. Here's 2 guys coming in, only 2. Let's go down the pits with Randy Perry.
Well, Dale Earnhardt came in the pits, and he said that just before this caution came out that his car was loose in only one spot, and that was turn 4. He was perfect all over. They're just going to take on 4 tires and fuel, and he stalled the race car. He pushed it, he fires it back up, Dale's back out.
And here you see the second place car, number 11, Jeff Bodine, also on pit road.
Here's where you really benefit by being in the lead lap. There's only 2 cars in this race that are in the lead lap. These 2 guys have the entire pit road by themselves. That's a big advantage. They're already through. They'll be leading the race again when the thing starts over.
However, if Harry Gant can get out here and pull up on the outside, now he'll get a shot at getting back into that lead. Harry Gant is running 3rd on the leaderboard now. Let's see what'll happen as those cars pull down on the pit road shortly, take on fuel at lap 235.
I noticed somebody really made a good move. Kyle Petty was trying to get a lap back, and it was questionable whether he got to the line before Earnhardt, but I see the pace car picked him up. He was fighting for that to get the lap back when Earnhardt was tiptoeing through 3 and 4 through the wreck.
We'll try to get a word with Ricky Rudd in just a moment. An unfortunate moment for him as he gets tail-ended out there by Derek Cope. And for the moment, his car is being worked on in the garage.
Champion Spark Plugs presents NASCAR Legends. He was smooth, consistent, a thinking man's driver. Marvin Patch raced to win. While Junior Johnson and Curtis Turner were smoking the tires, Marvin Patch was biding his time, calculating his moves. In an era when racers talked with their fists to settle skirmishes, Marvin Patch was never the center of controversy. He was easygoing and universally liked, but Marvin Patch was all business on the racetrack. He won 17 Winston Cup races, including the 1966 World 600 and the prestigious Daytona 500 in '61. Marvin Patch is living proof that nice guys don't finish last. The Deltona, Florida resident remains active in the sport as a representative for Ray Bestis Brakes, and even climbed behind the wheel once again for the NASCAR Legends race here in May.
5th caution of the day, and here you see some of the debris being picked up. Morgan Shepherd's car is being brought back. Ricky Rudd is in the garage area. Let's take a look again, Neil, at what brought around this circumstance.
So we're looking at Davey Allison at the rear of his car. See if we can see what happened. Here's the car getting up right up in the loose. Okay, there's smoke coming off the car, probably in front of Davey. It's hard to tell from that angle, but they evidently put oil down. These other cars just started cranking around, sliding.
It started up on the 71 car, we believe. Derek Cope got collected. You could see there the number 24 car, Jimmy Hensley, getting caught in that as well. Now here comes the Derek Cope car back on the hook. Morgan Shepherd's car was involved, and sadly Brett Bodine, that Quaker State Buick of Kenny Bernstein, really took a hit out there, as did Dave Marcus at Chevrolet of his, that Big Apple Market Chevy. Take a look at Derek Cope's car. That Bob Whitcomb team, they've had some bad luck recently, and it continues.
Well, I tell you, that takes a lick. There's a lot of tubing out there in front of the car, big, heavy wall stuff, but he just crushed it back around the engine.
Let's go to Dick Burke.
You're looking at what may well be $1 million worth of damage. The back end is totally pushed in. The fuel cell's bent, rear end's bent. Just about everything back here is bent except the driver. You're okay, Ricky Rudd?
Yeah, I got a little whiplash out of it. It's just an unfortunate thing. I guess the 71 car and the 15 car got together. They wrecked each other, hit the fence, and they were coming off the fence. I got on the binders and had to wreck missed, and evidently Derek Cope or somebody hit me in the back. He must not have had a spotter or something. They just came right into us running wide open.
Do you think they can get this thing back together and on the racetrack for you?
Well, I'm sure they're going to get it back together on the racetrack, you know, but obviously it's torn up pretty badly. We're just going to try to ride around a little bit, maybe pick up a few positions anyway.
Randy Pemberton.
Well, I'm down here in Alan Kowicki's pit, and on that last pit stop under caution, Tony Gibson, the gas man on the crew, slipped when he went over the wall, and there's a possible sprain or even a possible broken right ankle. They're now putting him on the stretcher. They're going to take him to the infield care center and take an x-ray of it. But he's in considerable amount of pain down here.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, nobody thinks about that, but you step over that wall with 100 pounds of fuel on in your arm. I mean, and you get pretty frisky. You get all involved with what's going on. You jump over that wall, but those guys got quite a job ahead of them to pick up those 100-pound cans.
The debris coming in from turn 4, where this latest incident, the 5th of the day, has brought out the caution flag over the past 6 laps. We're now at lap 239.
And there they are, the 3 cars you see on pit road. That's the 10 car of Derek Cope, 71 car of Dave Marcus, and in the rear right there is Morgan Shepherd. They're all 3 in really, really bad shape. The cars, hopefully the drivers aren't hurt at all.
One car has been penalized 5 laps out here. Greg Sachs, car number 47, came into the pits and came in too hot and spun, got it sideways, got it really around, and because of that spin, he's being held down there, and it's costing 5. They're getting real serious about that. All right, we'll be back with more from the Charlotte Motor Speedway shortly.
Wednesday night. Been paid by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, maker of Goodyear Eagles, the choice of every team and every driver at every Winston Cup race. And by Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Motor Oil, the high-quality motor oil for year-round engine protection. Long live your car with Phillips 66 Trop Arctic. And by the Champion Spark Plug Company, the world's #1 selling spark plug. No matter what you drive, no matter where you drive it. And by True Value.
Give your home beautiful protection with long-lasting True Test Weatherall house paint exclusively from True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Dale Earnhardt still leading under the caution here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're working the 5th caution of the day, and let's have a look at the cars out of the race. Dorsey Schrader went a lap. Mike Skinner, Ballou, Schrader in the garage with engine. Kerry Teague crashed. Hut Strickland blew up. Those 5 cars, 6 cars rather. Mark Martin, Derek Cope. Now Ricky Rudd in the garage trying to make repairs. Dave Marcus is in there, and they're hauling back Morgan Shepherd's car as well after that grinding crash up in turn 4. Ken?
Getting ready to go green at lap 243. They'll take the green another time. And as they prepare for that, car number 21, that's the Jarrett car, is back on pit road, and the hood is up. We thought they were changing plugs on that car a little while ago.
I don't think they had brakes on the car because I saw him coming in. They had to grab him when he stops. It looks like they're adding brake fluid. And he also got to the end of pit road and couldn't get stopped and ran through the stop sign.
6 cars were in that incident. Derek Cope's car eliminated. Marcus's car out. Morgan Shepherd's car was badly beaten up. Brett Bodine is still on the track. And, of course, they're working on Ricky Rudd. And Jimmy Hensley took some damage, too, on a rear quarter panel. Earnhardt leading, Bodine in second as we come back to green. Harry Gant in third, a lap down, with Davey Allison fourth, and it's Allison making the move quickly as he wants to get back in that lead lap if possible. Running 5th on the restart is Kowicki. He is a lap down. Then 2 laps down in 6th, Kyle Petty, 7th, Bobby Hamilton, and Terry Labonte stays right up in 8th spot. 9th is Michael Waldron. Here they are on the break, coming to turn 3 with the 2 leaders. The Chevrolet of Earnhardt and the Ford of Jeff Bodine very much in command. Tucked right in behind them, Davey Allison. Remember, he is a lap down. Now here's Allison trying to make the move on the inside. Gets Bodine, goes after Earnhardt. Gant sits there and scans the situation as they come through turn 2. Harry Gant's number 33 looking to make up a lap as well.
This might be the chance for Davey to get some of those laps back. Mark Martin was the guy that could prevent you getting laps back. Maybe he's capable of getting around Earnhardt and getting some of them back.
Gant collects Bodine, so now he's only a lap down to 1 man, the toughest of them all, Earnhardt in that number 3. Here comes Davey Allison. Looks like he may go after him right here on the bottom in turn 1.
He sure thought about sticking him down there. He's going to have to really get him a good run and get up beside Dale getting down in the corner, or maybe up off. Those things are very strong off the corner.
Back straightaway, Davey Allison closes in another time, gets a little closer. Earnhardt fades up just a tad in turn 4, and Allison seems to be handling a little better on the bottom. Like Neil says, you've got to have a lot of horses ready to put the spurs to when that moment comes. Pennzoil, aerial platform. You get these pictures as they get to turns 1 and 2 again. We're watching the 2 leaders and the 3 cars that are running 1 lap down. Davey Allison, 3rd, number 28. Harry Gant, 4th, number 33. And Alan Kawicki, number 7. You also see Kyle Petty's number 42, 2 laps down in the 6th spot. Kawicki is faded just back behind Kyle Petty right there. Lap leaders in the race, it was all Mark Martin for most of the first half. Then engine expires, and it's Earnhardt. 212 to 247 right now. Dale's been the man in command, but look at Harry Gant make that move on Davey Allison. Harry Gant wants to go up and challenge and see if he can get his lap back.
Just about the time you say, well, boy, Harry's off the pace today, well, then he makes a move like that. Here comes Davey. He's going to crank it right back down under him. He wants to, Davey or Harry's wanting that shot at Earnhardt. He's the guy they're going to throw all the bullets at. He's the man that's going to take to get a lap back.
And remember, 28 and 33 are running for 3rd position. They are a lap down to the leader, Dale Earnhardt, in number 3.
You don't see many Winston Cup races that 3rd, 4th place guys are a lap down, but we got strung out early, and now things are going to tighten up. There's Kawicki. You can see him going around the outside of someone, around the outside of Jeff Bodine back there coming up. And here's Davey working on Earnhardt again.
There is that Kawicki car just getting around Bodine.
Did it the hard way, passed him on the outside up in the middle of 3 and 4.
And that's rough up there. That's a bumpy part of the racetrack.
You don't want to forget, we said it earlier, he probably was quicker than Mark Martin early in the race. Here's Davey getting that lap back from Earnhardt. Get ready for him to come back under there, Mr. Davey, because he loves inside the racetrack.
Yeah, 007, that car number 28, moniker on it, the one that won here a year ago, has that lap back for the moment. But Earnhardt is right there ready to strike, and as Neil pointed out early, he loves to counterattack. And we've got a spin and a crash in turn 4. We've got one around, and it's either the Kyle Petty car or the Stan Smith car backing down across the track. We're going to run to the line.
Right here's really a key to this is Davey's got his lap back, but what about Kawicki? Kawicki really needs to get that lap back right now. But Earnhardt knows
closing.
that.
Here is Kawicki trying to get his lap back. Coming through the smoke, coming down to the line.
This could be just as important as the finish of the race. Did it.
Kawicki did it.
Did things tighten up in a hurry?
So that leaves Gant still outside. We have 4 cars now on the lead lap. Earnhardt is there. Bodine is there. Davey Allison and Kawicki all get back in the lead lap. And Gant will be perched on the outside to try to make a maneuver unless he elects to pull on pit road now and make it 5. That's the situation for the moment. Stan Smith spins up here in turn 4. We'll be back with more on the story of that spin of the race in a moment. Back with you at lap 252. Leaders have pulled on pit road. They include Earnhardt, Bodine, Allison, and Kawicki all in there. And quickly out comes Earnhardt.
We said before there were just 2 people that had the luxury of that pitting on pit road. All of a sudden we got 4 guys pitting at the same time.
First lap around is 4 of those in that lead lap.
We just said that they didn't have many Winston Cup races with big guys that lap down. Then we got them all back where they belong.
So you have Earnhardt, 1 Chevrolet, and the rest of them are Ford out there. 3 Fords in that lead lap as we get to lap 252. Let's take a look at what happened with Kawicki getting that lap back. That's how close it was, Neil, when they ducked across the finish line.
That could be just as important if that was the checkered flag waving, because it's put him back in contention now to have a shot at winning the race.
It seemed like he just kept that head of steam built up, and Earnhardt couldn't get it back. Now let's take a look at what happened up here in turn 4. There you see Stan Smith in that green and black car spinning up toward the wall. And I think Hensley is going to get a little piece of this. Jimmy Hensley is going to be involved as well, or he may have spun to avoid it. Hensley spun to avoid it.
Or possibly got into the yellow car there.
Here's Harry Gant on pit road now in car number 33. Being shown in 5th in a lap by himself. Kyle Petty in 6th, 2 laps down with Hamilton 7th, Michael Waldron 8th, Marley 9th.
Ken, what'll happen a lot of times, like that a guy leading the race, the spotter will say caution off of turn 4. Well, if you're leading and you've got in control of things, you're a little cautious. The guys that don't have anything to lose, those other guys, they're wide open in the throttle trying to come around and get it, so they're able to get the lap back. Dick Harry Gant's been with Dick Berger.
Well, Harry Gant did take his pit stop, and they did some work underneath the left front corner of this thing. Let's see if we can find out exactly what they did to try to adjust this car. Andy Petrie, what did you do under the left front of the car?
Oh, we just tried to put a spring rubber in there.
And that means it's not handling as well as it could, but I'll bet it'll handle better now.
Dick, when they put that rubber in that left front spring, it increases the spring rate and loosens the car. Gant must have been a little bit tight. When he puts that in, it increases spring rate, and he'll be a little looser and a little faster.
And he's one that can handle them. The looser they get, seems like the stronger he gets. Let's see what happens with Harry Gant and the rest of this Mello Yello 500 from Charlotte. 254 laps, 381 miles have been completed in the Mello Yello 500 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Earnhardt's in front, whereas he was a little lonesome up there with just Jeff Bodine to assist in the lead lap. There's now a trio going after him. Let's go down to the STP's pit center and Mike Joe.
Ken, it's our second Goodyear Eagle update of the afternoon. We'll talk about yesterday's Busch Grand National race and the penalty phase of NASCAR. Earlier this season, Jimmy Spencer got penalized and set down from combination records. Watch this, front two cars. Phil Parsons goes around. NASCAR said that Dale Earnhardt sent him and parked Earnhardt.
Black just made a bad call. Ain't nothing you can do about it. But, I think our car was tore up too bad to be a contender anyway, but still, to make a call like that, the fans really didn't understand, and some of them going to go away thinking I was a bad guy when I wasn't.
Some deeds went unpunished. Tommy Ellis gets into the back of Todd Bodine. Watch Todd Bodine's tires start to smoke, and Ellis just keeps on coming. No penalty.
You know, they can't do nothing about their call. They make the calls up there, and I wish they'd have just looked at the replay before they made that one.
So let's look at it. You make the call. Phil Parsons in front. Was he a little loose, or did Earnhardt send him around? NASCAR said he did, and Earnhardt was sent to the garage. So Earnhardt sent to the garage for that race. He'll be allowed to run the rest of the Busch races this season. Ernie Irvan already on probation after an incident following the Richmond event, and Jimmy Spencer knocked out of the combination Busch North and South events after a fracas earlier this season. Ken, the Busch Grand National Series directors are getting tough on those Winston Cup interlopers who come in and try to take the money, maybe a little too tough.
How much would a call like that cost Dale Earnhardt?
Well, when you start talking about something like that, can't be an Earnhardt or a Rusty Wallace, whoever. You've got 6 sets of tires down there. You put a new motor in for the race. You're talking about a $35,000 or $40,000 preparation, bringing a car in here to run the race. And boy, I tell you, when you get in judgment, because I don't care who's driving the car, usually 2 people know what happens, the guy in the car and the guy behind him. And, you know, there was indication from Phil Parsons yesterday. He said, hey, you know, he didn't hit me. It's just hard to make that call. I'd hate to be the guy sitting in this tower calling something almost a half a mile away and say, you did this or you did that. It's tough to live with.
Do you think there's a little overreaction with these Winston Cup guys, and particularly in Earnhardt's case, where they call him the Intimidator? That's the moniker he goes by, and they keep a more eagle eye on him than others.
Well, Ken, I don't have any doubt about it. The door's open for it, certainly open for it. He likes that in Winston Cup racing because they see that black car coming.
You need replays?
Do I need replays?
No, do they need? Does NASCAR need TV instant replays?
I don't know that they need the penalty box. I think you need to let these guys race and let everybody take care of their own problems.
You got it. We'll be back and get ready to go racing once again here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Mello Yello 500 very shortly. Back with you once again at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 1 lap until they put them under green and get this race resumed with 4 cars in the lead lap. Marching orders now will have Earnhardt, Bodine, Allison, Kowicki all running in the lead lap. Harry Gant in 5th, 1 lap down, trying to make that up. He's in a lap by himself. Kyle Petty is in 6th, 2 laps down, with Hamilton 7th, Sterling Marlin 8th. Let's go to Randy Pembert.
Well, I'm here in the Davey Allison pit, and Davey, of course, suffered some problems earlier when he got caught by a caution flag, got a lap down. He finally gets his lap back, but guess what? Now he's got radio problems. So what they're going to do, they're expecting to pit on lap 315, and Davey's going to use hand signals. Thumbs up if the car is loose, thumbs down if it's tight, and if they want to put in, that's to put in wedge. If they want to put in, if it's loose or tight, he's going to bang on the door or the roof. The roof is the car's loose, bang on the door, the car is tight. So this team's got a few more problems besides not being able to keep up with Dale Earnhardt at this particular time.
Well, they're keeping up all right for the moment as they come down to the line with the pace car coming in, looking from that Haviland in-car camera of Davey Allison. You find Earnhardt first, and there's Davey Allison tucked right in behind him with Bodine back in that third position on the brake. And Gant is up on the outside line as they break into turn number 1.
That's kind of a driver. Come on, do you think the outside is going to be the quick lane or the inside? He probably thought he could go around him on the outside and possibly work on him a little bit.
But he fell back about 2 cars.
Yep.
And on the back straightaway, here's Davey Allison hunting. His own little hunting party looking for Dale Earnhardt.
Look at the vibration in the car. We didn't see that earlier. It's not causing a problem, though.
This car that has been unbeatable, that number 28, running in second place, won this event a year ago, came back and won the prestigious Winston in May, and the following Sunday won the 600, closes in on Earnhardt and goes for the lead. Earnhardt trying to hold that line. Pinch off Allison. Nothing doing. Davey's there. Davey Allison scoots down the inside, and we have a new leader. Allison has made up his lap, and he is back in the lead, but here comes Earnhardt. Dale's not done. Drops right back down to the line as they come by to complete this lap. It will be Allison in first, lap 261. Morgan Shepherd, incidentally, is getting ready to come back on the track with a Butmore car. Looking from Davey Allison's vantage, back over the field, and there's Earnhardt looking up from under now.
I think Davey felt like he's been on a roller coaster today, up to the front, down to the back, penalized. Now he's out front again. He's got it going his way now, though.
Well, that's the mark of the champions in this business. To be able to keep your cool, to take those 1 lap or 2 laps down, and know that it may come around for you, and not get flustered and get out of control and throw the race away.
Looks like we got Greg Sachs falling the inside of the front straightaway behind this pack.
The story in the pits is that the Wood brothers have lost a cylinder on Dale Jarrett's car, so along with brake problems and everything else that's happened to them, it continues to be a backup situation for Dale Jarrett, with real high hopes for today's event. For the moment, Davey Allison draws away, gets himself 10, 11 car length advantage, and look at Bodine in 11, closing down on the number 3 of Dale Earnhardt. Bill Elliott car is running 4 laps down in 13th. The number 9 car begins to show up here. He's showing some extra strength all of a sudden. What's all that about?
More so than that, he's running right with the leaders. Early in the race, he fell way back off the pace, and now he's staying right there with the leaders.
Alan Kowicki's car, number 7, went back behind Gant. He's trying to come back around him. It's Kowicki on the tail end of the lead lap. This at lap 264. So we're drawn down to 396 miles. There's about 100 miles to go in this thing. And again, Davey Allison's out in front, trying to be a back-to-back winner in here.
Can you hit on something? You said about 100 miles to go. The 2 Fords, Bodine and Davey Allison, they pitted him on that very last lap before it went back green, and Earnhardt was out. He'll be tough on making it. I feel the other guys might have a shot at it.
Winning this race back-to-back is a tough thing to do. Last guy to win this race back-to-back, 71 and 72, a guy named Bobby Allison.
I think it might run in the family.
Lorenzen did it. 64 and 65 were his years. And of course, Junior Johnson, who else but, back in the early 60s. All right, we'll be back with more from the Charlotte Motor Speedway shortly. The 6 laps now complete, 415 miles approximately down. Davey Allison in front, but the big story is here. Car number 3 seems to be off its feet. Falling back is Dale Earnhardt into 4th spot. Alan Kowicki has just gone by him. He was challenging Bodine lap after lap, and all of a sudden it backed up. We need a report down in the pits as to the status of Dale Earnhardt's car number 3. Randy Pemberton is there, and I believe he can fill us in on what the status is.
I'm down here with Kurt Shuman. And Kurt, what is Dale saying over the radio?
It feels like it's sputtering and runs out of gas every now and then. We're not really sure what to think about it.
So what is he going to do, just ride for now, or do you have to bring him back in under caution or what?
The traffic.
Obviously talking to Dale over the radio.
You got a way out of the traffic where you can see, kind of feel a little better, see what he thinks.
A lot of concern down here. Here's Kirk again.
Just said it could be a piece of trash or something in the carburetor.
Okay, Kirk.
Kid, I was watching that car at the very end of the straightaway. If we keep a shot, the exhaust pipes are right there behind that 3 on the bottom, and it's been just fluttering a little bit of smoke like it's floating the valves right there in the straightaway. Did it real bad on the front straightaway a couple times. Dale's rolled out of it a little bit to see what the problem is, but they did have. It's possible to get traction fuel like that.
Junk up there that has bothered the number 3 car, and you can see here's Chad Little wheeling around Dale Earnhardt. Now the status in this point battle is that the car number 5, we'll try to update you on a complete story. That one looks like it's over for the day. Earnhardt was coasting around here thinking it was going to be pretty much a walk in the park. Not to be.
Here's the big decision time. Do you say, hey, we might have a little bit of problem. We're really moving up on the road. Do we sit here? Do we just say, hey, we can't win this race. Let's take care of the car. Or do you go ahead and try to win the race and risk blowing it up? They've got a big decision to make right now.
4 cars in the lead at lap 280 of 334 to be run. Allison leading and drawing away. And it's like the fairy godmother just waved a wand first over Mark Martin's car and now over the number 28 of Davey Allison, and it's hitched up and said goodbye.
Here we were looking at Mike Waltrip. He came in while ago. His window net fell down, and he had to come in to put the window net back up in the car, and now he's back in the racetrack.
Mike Waltrip, who's running 11th, he is 3 laps down. A look back at this massive grandstand where every seat is sold here for this Mello Yello 500 as he scoots around through turns 1 and 2. Our champion Spark Plug camera giving you these pictures as he hustles down the backstretch, looks back at what's fast coming on it. That group that's coming up, Harry Gant is there. With him is Bodine. Bobby Hamilton is in that crowd.
There's Dale really slowing down, dropping to the inside. If it was a piece of trash, it's a big piece because he's really off the pace. They're almost going to have to make that decision. Hey, let's ride this thing out if it can keep running.
7 cars went by him on that last lap. And now they're saying a lost cylinder on car number 3, and that looks worse.
Here's where they've got a problem now. Richard said he's got into this with Dale before. When they have a problem, try to slow him down. And you feel like you're running slow, he can back on down a little bit more and he won't be black flagged. The question is, how hard can you run it? It's hard to take a racehorse and throttle him back. It's going to be hard to get Dale to slow down enough for that thing to finish the race.
Let's see if they'll draw him in. Car number 3. For just a moment, it was all so golden here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And that hopes for the 5th national championship. And now, once again in the balance.
And Ken, let's update you on his closest competition to the points. Ricky Rudd has headed home. They have parked the number 5, couldn't make repairs after Derek Cope slammed into the back of it during that 5-car crash that Rudd appeared to have missed. So Ricky will finish 31st today, according to laps completed. And the amount by which the point margin will grow is all up to this man, Dale Earnhardt.
And there may be a consultation flag coming out for number 3. The black flag may be coming out for Earnhardt as he goes down into 1.
Ken, what they'll do on a black flag situation like this, they'll come in and they'll see if there's oil dripping off of the car. There's a chance it's an internal problem and it's burning the oil internally. If there's oil dripping off that race car and there's oil on the back of it, they're going to have to do something to fix it or they won't let it ride around the racetrack. And that's the thing it needs to be. You don't need a car smoking it, burning. As long as it's smoking, that doesn't concern them. But drippage on the track, they'll park it.
Here's Bobby Hamilton's number 68 pulling down for his pit stop. Late in the race, running in 6th position, 2 laps down, not for his pit stop, going right behind the wall. Bobby Hamilton, the outstanding rookie runner out of Nashville, Tennessee, just draws it in around by Victory Lane and blows it there. Unfortunate for Bobby Hamilton, who had his best run ever. His best one previously was at Dover, Delaware, when he finished 8th. He was up in 6th.
Ken, we're looking at Davey Allison. One of our pit guys mentioned earlier, they wanted to get that rubber out of the rear spring. It's pretty evident they got that rubber out and it set this car on fire. He's sitting now on the very same chassis that he won all the races with. That rubber was put in there for today with cool conditions and all. They got it out. Now he's back like he used to be.
Temperatures climbed up into the 70s, and from Allison's viewpoint, from his vantage, you see back nothing but space out there to where Jeff Bodine and Alan Kulwicki continue in 2nd and 3rd.
That's a nice feeling to look in that mirror and be by yourself.
Here's Dick Bergman.
I'm with Bobby Hamilton. This isn't the way you wanted to go to Victory Lane. You're parked beside him at the Homer's side.
I'll tell you what, we was really having a good run going. Definitely had a top 10 going, and we broke the front off the crankshaft. We have never done that before, but beauty part about this Country Mountain race team is every time a mistake happens or something breaks, it never happens a second time, so we're still learning.
How tough is it out there right now?
Track is real good for me. My car come in like 5 or 6 laps late, but the track's a real good show.
430 miles are complete as Bobby Hamilton has to park it after the best run he's had in Winston Cup racing. We'd like to say a special hello this afternoon to Chris Economaki up in New Jersey with wife Tommy. You know, Chris is always at a race on a Sunday, but Tommy hasn't been feeling well, and the gentleman elected to stay home. So hope you folks are enjoying the telecast today. And to a fellow who's been a part of our crew for some time, Gary Roffman, thinking of you as well as we get down here to the final moments of this Mello Yello 500 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As Davey Allison tries to do what his dad lasted in this track, win this 500 back-to-back.
And here he goes, lapping Earnhardt. But I promise you, they could care less. Richard Childress just wants to see that thing hitting at the end of the day. You can forget the lap things are over for the day.
Big lead continuing to build for Davey Allison. Bobby Allison's car, being driven by Hut Strickland, had trouble earlier here today after Hut had another great run going. He's out of it. Again, the last guy to win back-to-back was Bobby, 71 and 72 here in the 500 at Charlotte each October. Something if Davey can duplicate that feat here today, and for the moment it's his. But we saw Mark Martin running just as strong as Bankroll, and then the next thing we knew, goodbye. It just evaporated on him. Very disappointing day for Martin, still looking for that first win of 91. Now take a look at car number 4 here. As you know, they have to be ingenious. There has to be a lot of ingenuity, be it Yankee or Southern. Well, here's some California. Actually, this is some Tennessee, Virginia ingenuity that was added to car number 4. As it comes around and comes into the main straightaway, that panel on the right side, where the door was, you see it right there, the one that's upside down. They found that.
Again, that was the pit board, where when he comes into the pits, they hold it out over the wall, and that's his stop sign for him to stop on. The only thing I can figure, they got a wrinkled door for him to stop with now when he comes in the pits, but NASCAR requires you to have some sheet metal on the side of that car. You can't just go out there with a set of roll bars, so they just stuck the pit sign. He's having to stop with some other means now.
And of course, they don't allow anyone over the wall to hold up pit signs anymore. And I think that's one of the most important things that came out of all of that. Let him use those poles. That's where the risk was, and there was always those brushbacks and trying to psych the other team and knock that guy back so that they couldn't find him. That's all out of the way. I think NASCAR made a good call on that.
Every time we get into a situation where there's an injury or there's something that needs better, they've been the first ones to go to bat and say, we got to change that. And no one goes over the wall. They hang that particular sign we saw on the other side of that car on a little aluminum pole, and it hangs over, and you stop the front bumper against that. Speak of bumpers, this guy doesn't have one.
It's Morgan Shepherd. He doesn't have much left in that car. That poor thing got sadly abused up here in a 6-car wreck if you just joined us. The leader is averaging 168 miles an hour late in the going. We're going to show 294 laps complete this time by, about 441 miles, 440. So we're down to that last 60 miles, and Davey Allison has just decided it's another day at the office. He's drawing away from everyone.
We clocked it 2 laps before that, and it was 166. The following lap was 167, and now it's 168. They need to tell him to slow down. He's moving out on him, I tell you.
And remember that when he came into this race, he was running 4th in points. That car number 4 that we were making light of out there with its improvised door was 3rd in the standings. He's just trying to hold on to that. And here he goes, another lap down. As Davey scoots around, 3rd place man in the standings, Ernie Irvin. 1st to 2nd is now 8 seconds between Davey Allison out in front and Bodine in 2nd, with Kowicki in 3rd. And with that latest retirement from that group, Earnhardt having trouble falling out of that lead lap, not totally out of the race, but retiring from that battle up in front. We have ourselves Harry Gant in 4th, a lap down. Earnhardt falls to 5th, and in 6th is Kyle Petty. Kyle's had some very good runs here at Charlotte, including a victory in the 600, which is held each May. 296 are down. Davey Allison going for back-to-back wins in the Mello Yello 500. Stay with us and see if he can pull it off. From the Pennzoil aerial platform, a view of this gigantic 1.5-mile Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Pennzoil Motor Oil folks making this available to us. Really giving us some pretty exciting pictures of some great racing today, as well as these beautiful shots of this track we like so much.
Great race fans. Look at the crowd they have. My goodness.
Here is that 28 of Allison that continues to just draw away from the field. He has better than 8.5 seconds on the field. It's been a big weekend for Allison. Yesterday, over here in one of the condos, his new son, Robbie, was christened. Father Gruber was here, and also Larry McReynolds, the crew chief on that car. His child was christened. Well, he had a heck of a time.
They sure did. It was a great little deal.
Which brings me to the big story here. Everybody talks about this young hotshot Neil Bonnet that got hurt and had to retire. Hey, you're a grandfather now, fella.
Well, I tell you, my son Dave and his wife Tracy, they had a 8-pound, 10-ounce daughter last Thursday, and boy, I am tickled to death. We're having a great time. I got to get back home and see what she looks like.
It's hard to call you Grandpa Bonnet.
Well, I hate to tell you, some of these gray hairs showing it up.
Taking a look at this race, here you see Jeff Purvis' car, number 55. He's had another good run today in that rookie battle. He's currently being shown 15th overall in the field as Jeff Bodine in the 11 scooted by him. Davey stays first. Bodine is in second. Kowicki in third. And as we began and ran those first laps, it's Ford in that trio. And hey, it looks to me like right now Bodine is closing on Davey Allison.
I don't know.
Earnhardt in trouble, and that looks like it could be all for number 3, Dale Earnhardt.
Whenever those things break something inside like he did earlier, they're just setting each lap self-destructing, and it looks like the fuse just went to the end of that thing. They might be able to do something, I don't know what.
A big break for Ricky Rudd.
Well, it is in part, Ken. Rudd will finish 32nd today. That's where he'll end up. If Earnhardt goes to the garage, there are 29 cars running. If he goes to the garage right now, based on laps completed, the worst he can finish is 26th. He is assured of gaining at least 18 points on Rudd and moving that point bulge from 112 to 130, if that's all for Earnhardt right now.
Well, that changes the situation once again as we get ready for Rockingham and then Phoenix. Randy Pemberton is down there in the Earnhardt pits.
Well, that's it. The hood went up and it went right down again. Dale Earnhardt has definitely taken the GM Goodwrench to his Chevrolet. He came over the radio and said that he thought it blew up. It definitely locked up the engine. We'll get a word with him right here in just a moment.
305 laps complete as Earnhardt goes behind the wall. Dale Earnhardt in the final moments of the Mello Yello 500 has bad luck another time here at Charlotte. 457 miles down. He's back in the garage area. And that interval between first and second, Neil's got his old egg timer out there. What does it look like to you? It looks like he's drawing up closer.
They cut it back from 8 seconds. He's down to just under 7 seconds. I don't know if Davey's back to face off or he's really turning up the whip, but he's gaining on it.
Dale Jarrett, Wood Brothers, car number 21. Running slower, and see smoke plummeting out of the back of car number 21. So it will not be a finish for the Wood Brothers and Dale Jarrett here today. Dale is the big story, one of the big stories of next year with that Joe Gibson team coming into racing. His brother-in-law, Jimmy Makehart, a crew chief. From Michael Waltrip's champion camera, looking back over the field as he comes out of turn number 4. Behind him is Alan Kowicki running in third, and you can see intervals are continuing to develop to get bigger everywhere but one spot. That's up in front, where the leader is Davey Allison, and the second place man is car number 11, drawing ever closer. Time running out, 307 of the 334 laps complete comes Jeff Bodine. Let's go down and find out the story on Dale Earnhardt's car.
Dale, what happened out there? Obviously, it just blew up. Tough day for you. Charlotte bit you again.
Just dropped the valve. You know, we was running good. We, about a third or fourth place car there. And Ford's awful strong.
Well, you obviously gained a few points on Rudd, so it wasn't all bad today.
Well, that's true. I hate to see us both have trouble. Looks like, we at least be racing for this championship. And hell, me and him need one have any luck. Who knows?
Is that your hunting buddy?
I've heard him say that when we wasn't catching fish, so that's nothing new to me. He said, hell, we ain't catching fish, so what's new?
309 laps are down. 334 the distance. Allison first, Bodine second, Kowicki third, 3 Fords in the lead lap. 1 lap down in 4th, the Oldsmobile of Harry Gant. Now car number 21 has gone behind the wall. Dale Jarrett is retiring the Wood Brothers colors from this race. There you see the leader. Coming through is Davey Allison. And we're looking for that second place man. So you get a sense of where they are on the racetrack. And there's the Budweiser number 11 trying to put a lap on Joe Ruttman in car number 75 as he tries to chase down the lead.
If these guys keep falling out of the races, these mechanics are pretty smart. They might be putting pedals in those things and sticking Earnhardt and those guys back in, because all they got to do is make a few laps now. These cars are dropping like flies, and they can pick up some more points. But boy, I tell you, it's terminal when you see them smoking like Dale in the 21 car, Dale Jarrett, when they went out.
99 getting a lap put on it is Brad Teague out of Johnson City, Tennessee, in his Chevrolet. And there you see Kyle Petty coming onto pit road. Kyle has been running in 5th. For these retirees, this attrition developing. Kyle Petty on a great comeback in the Felix Savetta's car has pulled himself to 5th. Hoods up.
Yeah, that's, boy, they've got a problem there, and it's a shame because he's been battling all day, trying to get his laps back, trying every time he had a chance to. Now he's got some problem on the hood.
Attrition, 15 cars are out of this race. 42 began the event. As we look at car 42 in trouble. And there's your leader. There's Davey Allison down around by the condos in turns 1 and 2. And still leading by just a little better than 6 seconds in the Mello Yello 500. 316 of 334 laps are complete. Davey Allison has the advantage. See that blimp right there? That's part of the contingent from the Allison gang. Right now, Davey Allison is blowing the competition away. Here he is in the number 28. He's built it back up to 8 seconds the last 2 or 3 laps, but he's getting ready to pit. In fact, this is the moment. He's down on pit road. Dick Berggren is standing by as Davey Allison comes in at this critical moment in the event in his hopes of winning back-to-back.
This is the most important pit stop of the day, no doubt about it. It's going to be a quick gas and go. He's got the gas. He's gone. 4.39 seconds for Davey. A great stop.
And Kulwicki running 3rd in that lead lap. Car number 7 is now on pit road as Davey Allison exits. Entering is car number 7, Kulwicki, the 3rd place car. There's the 2nd place car. It's now inherent lead for the moment. It's car number 11. Bodine has taken over. He had been running in 2nd. And there's the number 7 car just going out. He's been running in 3rd in that lead lap. Incidentally, Ernie Irvin's going behind the wall another time with car number 4. Irvin pulls in. So Bodine at this moment inherits 1st place in car number 11. Kulwicki has dropped out of that lead lap with that pit stop. There's Ernie Irvin coming to a halt in car number 4 after giving it another go and trying to score some more points. And Kulwicki has not come up to speed in car number 7. 11 still coming by. Rick Mast is on pit road. Jimmy Means is back in. Bodine 1st. Allison 2nd. Kulwicki 1 lap down in 3rd. Gant is 4th. Marlin is 5th. Looks like the advantage build up here today in the points is still Harry Gant and still Davey Allison.
You know, it was that situation with Kulwicki. He should have been up to speed at that particular time. Here's Bodine staying out, which Junior's cars are notorious for gas mileage, and he hasn't been in yet. He's gonna, I would think he'd have to stop.
Brett Bodine, younger brother of Jeff, is in 8th position, 3 laps down. He just pitted. The 26 car is on pit road. The number 11, Jeff Bodine, 320 complete. 320 complete, 14 laps remaining.
It's going to be interesting if he tries to go that distance.
The last stop on that car number 11 was at lap 252.
Yeah, but let me tell you what they did again. They came in when just before the caution flew. I mean, the green flag flew. They ran down pit road. They've got all they can get in it. The question is, do they have enough?
Michael Waltrip brings in car number 30, running 3 laps down in 7th place. Darrell Waltrip is back in. Joe Ruttman is on pit road. Watching that Michael Waltrip stop and back out quickly. It would be a good finish today for him. Sterling Marlin brings in the 22, which is running 2 laps down in the 5th position. Here's Michael coming back to speed. Terry Labonte in number 94. Terry's been right in this thing. He's been just out of that top group. Runs in 6th spot.
And look who's sneaking up on them, Ken. Richard Petty's the 11th place car. Announced his retirement at the end of next season. He made that announcement Wednesday. 9th is his best finish this season. He's just 2 spots away from that. Probably the nicest tribute to Richard on Wednesday came from North Carolina Governor Jim Martin. He said, "It's fun to be governor, but I always wondered what it would be like to be king."
Very few people will know, I promise you.
It'll be a hard day when he decides to finally hang that helmet up. Here's the 11 car, and there's Jimmy Spencer in the 98, running in 17th position. Jimmy's several laps down, right behind him. 11, Bodine stays in front. Davey Allison in second. How long can number 11 stay out there? That's the issue for the moment. Comes by another time. He elects not to come in.
I thought he was having a problem. He's real loose up in the middle of the corner, but when we say real loose, he's minus 200 or 300 pounds of fuel. That fuel cell's got to be close to being out of gas, and he might be just pedaling that thing along, trying to conserve as much as possible. If he goes a distance, he's going to have to conserve.
To Randy Pemberton in that Jeff Bodine pit.
Tim, can you go all the way or not? What are you going to do?
We're going to sit here and watch. See what happens. That's about all we can do right now.
Okay, he's kind of short with his answers here with just a few laps to go.
It almost looked like Bodine wanted a partner to pull him. He dropped back, fell right in behind Harry Gant, but Gant pitted. And the move that Bodine made to get him behind him didn't pay off.
3rd place car, 1 lap down. Think about it. I mean, 4 first places, then a 2nd last week, a 3rd this week. That's still a heck of a run. Carries away. Andy Petrie and company getting right back out here. Incredible. September and beginning of October for Harry Gant.
Boy, here's Bodine. I'm telling you, they've got it in their mind. You know, I can tell Tim Brewer. I know Tim Brewer's a gambler. He loves to try stuff like that. I think they won their first race and won the 125 milers when he drove this car by going non-stop when you couldn't go non-stop. So they're probably going to try it.
326 laps are now complete, and it's an economy run. Bodine is in front. Can he go the distance? He's backed it down a little, but he doesn't have to back it down much if he can stay out there.
One thing that might help on this particular racetrack, we're looking at 8 laps to go, as much corners as this racetrack, plus the straightaways banked a little bit, that keeps every ounce of fuel over on the right side of the fuel cell. It should pick up every ounce of fuel in it.
Going back to 2nd place and giving you an idea of just how far back. It was lap 258 when 11 last pitted. 119 miles if he goes the distance.
Ken, those numbers, we just talked about him winning a 125 miler at Daytona Beach, Florida, but that's with a 310 gear. We're talking about pulling a lot more gear ratio and turning more miles. You're actually, this 500-mile race here would be like 550 compared to Daytona.
Interval from 1st to 2nd, only 2 cars in the lead lap. 3rd place car now is Alan Kowicki, a lap down. After Harry Gant pitted, Kowicki takes over in 3rd. Harry Gant drops to 4th. In 5th, Sterling Marlin 2 laps down. In 6th, 3 laps down, Terry Labonte, followed by Michael Waldrop and Brett Bodine.
It looks like Kowicki's having a problem. A lot of people are passing him right here at the end of the race. People that wouldn't even contend with him earlier.
Well, if he doesn't run out of gas, it's going to be Bodine's. And again, that relationship from 1st to 2nd position. And gambled not to come in.
Neil, if Davey had come in and gotten tires in addition for gas and then been faster out on the racetrack, wouldn't that kind of force Tim Brewer's hand and made him pull Bodine in? With Davey getting gas only, does Tim have the luxury of not having a slower car and leave Jeff out there?
Well, I tell you, Mike, it almost looks now with that smile on Tim Brewer's face that when they came in with on the last lap before they dropped the green to get that last little ounce of gas, they figured their pit stops in reverse. They figured from the end of the race back how long it would take. And they saw that window there, and they're going to try to open the window and step through.
Jeff Bodine, who's had his share of problems here.
He's drafting everybody. Here he is drafting the NASCAR, which is not one of the faster cars on this particular day. He's trying to get a sniff of a pull off anything in front of him.
Wally Dolan back in the number 90, getting ready to run for Jack Roush next year. And here's the 11 car, Bodine, who crashed in practicing for the Winston back here in May, so he missed out on that competition here. And then, of course, there was the big flap with the Junior Johnson cars being a few cubic inches over. Jeff Bodine, he was the fastest Daytona and pre-Speedway practice this season. Moving on to a new team next year, wanting to finish it up big time with a victory here in this autumn sprint to the finish. Rockingham and off to Phoenix, Arizona, then back to Atlanta in November to conclude the 1991 campaign.
2 laps to go. We've got 2 laps to go, and it's going to be close, I'm telling you. I don't think you could go over and talk to Brewer now and tell you either. He'd probably tell you they're not going to try to go the rest of the way, but they might pull this thing off.
Looking for that 11th win. Jeff Bodine. This would be his first win, 1991, if he can stay there. It's been a real chessboard out here this afternoon. And apparently Tim Brewer is a master player. White flag coming out and 1 remaining.
If it'll make it down the back straightaway, and the straightaway is where it's going to run out of fuel. If it'll make it down the straightaway, it's going to pick up some more in the corner. He can get there. If he can just get to the end of the back straightaway, he can get that last ounce out of it.
You can pack up that Sears Craftsman kit and give it to Tim Brewer, that crew chief on that car. It's some savvy move. If we can hang together here, he's going to bring him home and give Bodine his first victory of 1991. It's going to happen at the Mello Yello 500. The checkers are out, and the winner is Bodine. What a finish. Now let's see if he can get it back to victory lane.
He wouldn't care if he had to get out and walk back.
Second place goes to Davey Allison. Third spot, 1 lap down, is Kowicki. In fourth will be Harry Gant, and fifth, 3 laps down, Sterling Marlin. Sixth spot at the finish unofficially is Terry Labonte. In seventh, Michael Waldrop, and in eighth, Brett Bodine. Ninth belongs to Darrell Waldrop, 5 laps back, and Chad Little, and that number 19 comes home in 10th. Finishing 11th will be Richard Petty. Good day for him. And finishing in 12th was Bill Elliott. Teddy Musgrave in the 55. He got himself a 14th place finish just behind Rick Mast in 13th when it was over. So it came down to a real study of psychology and of engineering skills between a couple of great teams. And Tim Brewer played it just right with Jeff Bodine to win the Mello Yello 500. It's complete, the Mello Yello 500. At the end of 334 laps, Jeff Bodine has won his 11th Winston Cup victory. He's in victory lane right now, and let's go down there for the Channel Lock interview with the champion today.
And he is on his way out of the car. He hasn't made it out yet. Jeff Bodine, victory, first time in 1991. He's going to stand on top of the car and let you know how he feels about it, and that's the answer. He bows to his crew, and he owes them one for sure. They were doing the fuel calculations. Jeff, the engine was silent when you brought it in here. Did you run it out of gas after the checker?
It's out of gas. It ran out when I got the checker. It sputtered the lap before. I told my guys I don't know if we're going to make it, but it did. Kathy, hi. I wish you were here. I love you, Barry, Matthew. I want to say hi to Flossie Johnson. She's not here. We'd like to won this one for you earlier in the year, but hey, this is great. Well, a long time coming. Woo.
What happens to your stomach at a cliffhanger like this?
I didn't even look at the fuel pressure. You know, we knew what our strategy was when we pitted. It was just to keep going. Those other fellas stopped. I never looked at the fuel pressure. I did back off. I slowed way down. I wasn't running wide open at all for the last 10 or 15 laps, just trying to save fuel, but the Budweiser Thunderbird, what a car!
You knew where Davey was behind you?
Tim told me how far the guys were behind me, and I knew they're catching us, but I was slowing down just to save fuel, and hey, it worked. Great day. All right.
Did you really think it was going to be yours, or did you think that this was an incredible cliffhanger, a real tight decision?
Well, obviously, we weren't fast enough to get out there and run with those fast guys. Mark was really fast early, then Davey and Alan, but we just used a little strategy to beat them. That's all part of racing, right? And we just had enough fuel. The team wanted me to pit on that last caution, top it off with fuel, and it worked. Hey, take them any way you can get them.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Randy Pemberton is with Davey Allison. Randy?
Davey, I guess it's a tough day. You've dominated here at Charlotte. You had a great day today. Came up short, I guess, compared to some great gas mileage. How did you see it?
Well, we finished second. We came from almost a 2-lap deficit back to lead the race, and to have a second-place finish is just tremendous. You just got to congratulate all the guys that work on this thing, because we changed some things this morning before the start of the race, and you know, we needed to make some adjustments, and we kept adjusting all day. We kept getting the car a little bit better and a little bit better, and the next thing you know, we were out there, you know. I don't know if we had anything for Mark. He was awful tough, but, you know, and I hate to see him have problems, but Ford won, a Ford finished second, a Ford finished third, so it's not a bad day for the Fords.
Is it difficult to talk about the gas mileage, though? He went nearly 120 miles on that tank.
Well, you know, it's not my job to check it. It's NASCAR's job to check it, and if it's right, then we just have to accept it, and that's the way it goes.
A great run by Davey Allison and a great strategy job by that Junior Johnson crew. Tim Brewer will be able to use this Craftsman tool chest and rollaway to store some of that money they'll take home up to Ronda, North Carolina, and we'll have more. From the Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Mello Yello 500, we'll talk to more of the folks who finished behind Jeff Bodine right after we pause for these messages.
The Mello Yello 500 has been brought to you by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on. By Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars. By Goodyear, the unanimous choice of every NASCAR Winston Cup team. And by Mello Yello. At the Mello Yello 500, there's nothing mellow about it.
Talent list.
Well, Mark Martin ends up as our True Value hard charger of the afternoon. Small consolation to the fellow who had the fastest car, but he'll get $1,500 from True Value, and each of these top 5 drivers will earn some points toward the year-end $50,000 in awards. The Winston Cup point chase. Dale Earnhardt finishes 25th today. Ricky Rudd 32nd. Both cars in the garage at the conclusion of the race. Earnhardt pads his lead by 21 points, and he'll carry a 133-point bulge unofficially to Rockingham in 2 weeks. Ken?
Well, it was some finish out here today as the Davey Allison car finally gets itself a second place when it was all over this afternoon. But the most important thing was to see Jeff Bodine, who leaves next year to drive for Bud Moore, the car that Morgan shepherded out here today, the number 15, do that well. And I think you can credit Tim Brewer with a lot of that.
Well, I tell you, those guys are notorious for getting that gas mileage. They win a lot of races on mileage, and like you said, you take them any way you can get them.
And at the end of this race, I mean, the fact that they got 76 laps, you think they're going to take an extra look at that gas tank?
Well, when it pulls over that pumps over there, there'll be somebody looking over their shoulder. I'm sure they'll check it.
Well, that was an interesting fuel cell for sure. But they've done that before. I mean, they have really worked hard on their mileage, and it isn't in the fuel cell. It's in how they use that fuel and use that air to make that car work.
Those dynos used to be for horsepower. Now they've got a fuel flow, fuel rate on them, and they check that all the time. And that's just as critical as horsepower nowadays.
So where do we go from here with these 3 races left? You've got Phoenix, Arizona, that very flat mile. You've got the high banks up at Rockingham and that grand finish at Atlanta. Is there any way Rudd can come back into this thing?
Yeah, because all things got to happen is they'll have trouble early in the race, and then Rudd have a real good finish. You can still turn this thing around. It's, you know, you say, where do you go from here? You go crazy trying to figure it out.
Let's get some closing comments from the folks down on pit road.
Well, the race doesn't always go to the fastest car. In this case, it went to the smartest pit crew. Alan Kulwicki was faster. Davey Allison was faster. Maybe even Harry Gant was faster. But it was Jeff Bodine's turn, and he wound up in victory lane. Great job. Good way for him to leave this team with a victory.
Well, talking about it doesn't always go to the fastest car. Mark Martin, no question about it. They had the fastest car this afternoon. They developed some new engine products for that automobile. Evidently, something happened. Mark Martin desperately looking for his first win in over a year and trying to gain back that form that brought him nearly 2 Winston Cup championships. He came up short in 1989, finished second last year, but it won't be this season.
I'm glad I don't have to handicap this type of racing. Mark Martin was fastest. Alan Kulwicki was fastest for a while. Harry Gant, Dale Earnhardt. Ricky Rudd missed the accident, ran out of luck. Where do you go from here? All I know is that anybody who left their seat early and went home cheated themselves. What a finish.
Every seat was sold out today here at Charlotte, North Carolina. And every seat stayed there to watch at the finish as Jeff Bodine came through and took the trophy for winning the Mello Yello 500. For Mike Joy, Randy Pembert, Dick Berggren, Neil Bonnet, I'm Ken Squire. That's the story. It's Bodine celebrating the 32nd annual 500 at Charlotte.